Hello, and welcome to Sunday. We are back again on this, what did Liz say earlier, Zombie Jesus Day, for all of us who are lonely and don't have anything better to do but hang out with a whole bunch of weirdos while we complain and do some sewing. But Loki is mad at me. He's like, human, I've been waiting for half an hour. Where's my snack? All right, let's have snacks.
He has risen, as they say. I've been waiting all day to say that. I have always thought that was the strangest thing. I've always thought that was the strangest thing. Oh, my friend.
Okay.
So, how's it going? How's it going?
It is going. Eyelets are mean, and I hate them right now. Because I got this corset all beautifully finished, and I keep popping eyelets out, and I don't, like, half of them are sewn in nicely, and some of them are popping out. So instead of wasting more, I'm going to reinforce them with buttonhole stitch around them because I don't know what else to do right now.
Vimy Ridge, it's steaming. It's 80 something, but it feels like summer, Kilroy. It's hot as hell. If I'm showing arms, it's hot.
Oh, hey, Kilroy, welcome to the degenerate crew. I hope you've been well. So yeah, that's my first grape. I've got all sorts of other things ready, but and this corset is still too big. I made it smaller, and I still have no lacing gap, so we're just gonna roll with it right now. Okay, where am I sewing first? So I'm like grumpy and kerfluffled right now, and I can't do it.
I'm actually sweating. You see, I'm shiny. Do you know, I'm not going to cry about it because it's been so cold. It's not kind to the skinny, emaciated waifs that live in LA. The weather has not been kind. Has not.
Here.
But I cut up one of my flags. I cut up the one that had the most mistakes because I felt like it was almost blasphemous cutting up my Klingon flags. But that's just me because I'm a super geek. But I'm in love with my House of Sewing battle jacket now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Super cute.
I ordered a bunch of stuff on Amazon because, like I always say, China's not going to lob one missile at us. They're just going to cut us off.
Right, and then sell us crappy fentanyl.
So I've been going a little Amazon crazy. I even encouraged my mom. Thank you, Kilroy. Thank you. I can't wait to wear that. And we've been planning a Vegas trip, and Vegas has it's like Star Trek geek heaven nowadays. So
yeah,
I can't wait.
Oh my god, Kilroy, it's 60s. You're so it's barely 60 degrees here. But sometimes it's like 90 already, so it's like hit or miss where I live right now.
True. And you know, every year I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to cry about the weather, but I reserve the right to. I reserve the right to cry about the weather.
Right.
But I got to barbecue. It was beautiful. It was beautiful today.
Oh, that is good.
And I realized how wretched I left my barbecue 6 or 7 months ago.
Oh, no.
So I spent more time cleaning that thing because I remember during the winter being like, "Oh, I'm gonna close it, put the cover on, and walk away."
Oh, that's terrible.
So I spent more time cleaning it than cooking on it.
Yeah, you got to do the maintenance.
I think that's what got Odin curious. Is like, what is this crazy human doing?
And why does it smell like yummy, rotten food?
Well, Odin's getting used to my my joint smoking like Tai Chi, Pilates, whatever you want to call it. I
Oh,
have to
good.
stretch. I have to stretch for my, for my health. And
Right.
I do it. I do it to encourage my son to do the same because he copies me, So I'm like, no, we're
Yep.
gonna stretch. We go in the backyard and like Odin is like, what is this strange human doing again out here? I love this time of year. I absolutely love when the sun starts shining. I like live in my backyard. I feel
Yeah.
guilty though because I have a fountain, but we have hardcore water restrictions here.
Right.
And like it's the do you think I know a lot of it is my training because I was raised Roman Catholic, but I feel guilty about certain things, when no one
Mm-hmm.
around here cares. Like no one cares.
I know they're giant swimming pools.
Oh, I haven't said it yet because Isaiah found religion.
Okay.
And because he has ASD, it was overnight. And you are right. You are right, Gilroy. Hey, Elizabeth. You
Hey,
are right,
Liz.
Gilroy. But that's part of his ASD is he falls into mass movements. And as a parent, it's my job to facilitate. As long as he's not getting tattoos or dressing like he works at IKEA and carrying a tiki torch, I'm cool.
Unless he made that Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Oh, that's different. I'll hook him up. I'll make him a gangster Hawaiian shirt. I'll hook him up. I
So
tell him
which
that all the time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to ask which religion hole he fell into.
Well, he tried Christianity, but he is extremely like almost as somebody who almost joined the Nation of Islam and who got fully recruited, like wore the stupid hat and the suit and everything. I couldn't take not eating pork and how they treated women. I don't want a subservient human in my life. I need an equal,
Yeah.
So Isaiah is like, we were going to get pretzels yesterday. I'm like, yeah, it's hot. People are wearing less. He's like, I think girls should cover up. I almost crashed Phoenix. I almost hit the ground. I
Wow,
was like,
he jumped onto the modesty bandwagon.
my ex-wife thinks it's because her and I we're very much alike. My my ex-wife is a gay man, even though she's a woman. We are very much alike. And so she thinks that he's just rebelling against what he perceives as our because we're not modest people. Like, especially when the summer comes, like I'm wearing a beater, like, it's hot. I have a collection of basketball jerseys. I don't even like the teams. I just wear them because
they've got short sleeves and they breathe.
Exactly. They have those perfect air holes,
Right. Close with vents.
Oh man. But it's the strangest thing. And it took everything in me not to trash it when he was like, I found this and this and this. And I'm like, you know what? Come to your own conclusion, find out what you want, like it's up to you. Because in my head, I was like, it's all propaganda. Let me tell you why. But my parents groomed me to be a Catholic, and in a lot of ways, it stained my life. So I want my son to make his own decisions.
Right.
Like I feel guilty about stuff I shouldn't, and that's because in the certain sects of the Roman Catholic religion, it's based on you feeling like crap about yourself all the time.
It sure is.
It drives me crazy. I wonder if my stand is out here. I use a pop-up podium music stand to sew on.
Okay.
Oh.
I told myself, so I was like, I'm not gonna prep anything until I resew these eyes and put buttons on my pants. So what did I do? I cut out a shirt with this cute blue with white daisies.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yup. And I'm going to be brave, and we're going to go through my button collection here shortly, or longly, depending on when I get there.
Oh, the world of buttons. This thing is
I
so
know.
dusty. I should really clean this off before I put clothes on it.
Right, and should probably take it outside, because if dust is one of your triggers, well, to each their own. Oh, I forgot.
I come in here with the leaf blower once every 2 days and blow this place out.
Yep. No medical, legal, financial, election fortification. I think that's all of it. There's no advice here. You might accidentally learn something, but that's not on purpose, I swear.
Oh, and I keep on I agree with you, Kilroy. It is a phase, and I keep on saying he's going to take it to his logical conclusion like I did. So I encourage him to. And my ex-wife, we were like, bro, we'll take you to a Buddhist temple. And like Marquette and I were like, we'll take you to a mosque.
Right, because exposure it's helpful to be exposed to lots of things and then make your own choices afterwards.
And you know what the funny thing is? Like, a mosque would let me walk in with my godless patches. Would a church let me walk in with my godless patches?
Probably depends on the church.
I told him too, I'm gonna take him to a black church because that's just fun.
Oh,
it's like
you have all the singing and choirs and music and the live band. He might never leave, or
free concert.
Overload and be like, nope, yeah, take me out.
Honestly, it's a free concert. I love black churches. I absolutely love black churches. And I'm in my peaceful atheist phase, so I like, you know, I am dying to see where this one's gonna end. Because 4 years ago he walked up to his mom and was like, I'm non-binary. And my ex-wife calls me and she's like, you need to get that kid off the internet. 3 years ago he walks up to his mom and says, I'm a communist. And then it went from Ben Shapiro to Jordan Peterson, and then like Matt Walsh, and then he said Ben Shapiro was too harsh, but like he's a phaser, and that's okay. That's okay, right. You know.
He's in that explorative phase, so.
And honestly, people with ASD develop different because they're actually thinking about themselves. Most kids aren't that introspective and don't care. So I encourage people looking inside themselves and actually thinking about what's going on in their lives. You know, I'm all about that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's true, Kilroy. Some of those black church services are like 8 hours long. Yeah. Set me free.
That is, oh, I forgot about that. The Catholic church I grew up in was 45 minutes to an hour.
Yep.
In and out.
Same. Only on like first community, like special services were a little bit longer, but yeah.
I watch a lot of TV on YouTube, and I've been watching old episodes of Amen. Not because I'm religious, just because it reminds me of the 80s.
Yeah.
When there were only certain TV shows on, you know?
Right.
I didn't think about that. Is one thing. How long are Mormon services? I love scaring people. I dated a woman who would always jokingly say, "Oh, I'm Jehovah's Witness. I'm Jehovah's Witness." She did not act like it. She partied like a rock star, like a real one. So one weekend I went with her to her mother's house in Tillamook, Oregon. Well, of course you know where Tillamook is. Yeah. We went on the factory, and I got to see like happy cows. I got to surf in a full thermal suit. I had the time of my life. Sunday, she took me to church. I'm not kidding you. They sat me in the middle, and it was a big church. It was a giant church. I had never felt so uncomfortable. Every time I turned and looked, somebody was looking me dead in my eyes.
Please don't make eye contact.
It was so uncomfortable. But I think it's because I had it in my head, like, oh, this is Jehovah's Witness church. Like, it was just like any other service I had experienced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I zoned out and thought of England.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, man, it is hot. My sinuses don't even know what to do. They're like, what? Are we? What is this blasphemy that's going on?
Yeah, I started to have to live on Benadryl because it's that time of the year again.
I still watch all of those shows. I've come to appreciate MASH in my older days.
Yeah, that was a funny one. We started rewatching Good Omens last night.
Awesome. How's that? I need something new. I do need something new to watch. Sometimes I feel like I watch the same things over and over out of like just because they're comfortable.
Right. It's a security blanket. It's good. I mean, I read the book years ago and I really loved it. So it's kind of hard when, it's not exactly the same. And I'm like, oh, did you get this? Did you get that? Do you know what they're insinuating? And the human is like, yes. Okay, just sure.
Oh, God. I asked Isaiah, like, well, how come you don't watch French movies with me anymore? And he's like, because you read the subtitles. I do. I'm controlling. Well, I want him to get the context, you know?
Right. I know. Well, that's why I started having my human read out loud to me like years and years ago, because some people like whisper to themselves when they read to themselves, and it doesn't bother me, but I was like, well, if you're going to basically read out loud, you might as well just read to me.
I had to teach myself not to do that. I used to do that. But I would read a lot in public, and I didn't feel like getting judged, so I taught myself not to read out loud.
Right. But I get it. Some people are auditory and need that kinesthetic, like seeing the words, hearing the words, seeing the words.
The only pet peeve I have about reading is when I laugh and someone asks me, like, what are you laughing about? And I'm like, you know what? It took 8 pages to set up that joke. I can't even explain it to you. It's going to take me 45 minutes to explain it to you.
Oh, that's good. So Liz explored lots of different churches. It's fine to be a phaser at 13, maybe not 43. You're never... Spiritual paths come when they need to, when you need them. There's no timeline frame. And
I constantly say, like, look up the self-bill of rights. Like, I live by that. Like, you have the right to switch up tomorrow. You have the right to move to France. You have the right to...
I don't know. France was on fire this week.
I wouldn't... Europe is lit right now. Do you know what's really funny? As human beings, it's so funny to watch history weirdly repeat itself. It's not necessarily the exact same, but it's close. They're cousins. They're cousins. Yeah,
it does feel kind of terrifying right now a little bit.
Well, in America, we're weirdly landlocked. So as long as no one lobs missiles at us, like, it's just people like yelling at each other right now. Because we are China's cash cow.
Yeah.
Do you know, like... And I love this fact, and I got this from Vice, so take it for what it is. No legal advice or whatever. But America buys 47% of the world. We basically buy most of the world's illegal drugs. So if there's an illegal drug that's made in any country, they try to bring it here because they know we're gonna do it, smoke it, whatever.
Oh, the same with the legal drugs. Like, we've got like 1/10 of the world's population, but use 60% of the pharmaceuticals or something.
That's what it is. We do more drugs than any country on earth, and we're not even. If you put our numbers up, we have the same amount of people in America that there is in Nigeria.
Oh gosh.
Like
I
we
didn't
don't.
realize
We're
Nigeria had that many people.
yeah. Nigeria. I was, and I only found this out in my 2020 like I'm scared and bored research.
Yeah.
Because I was stuck at home. I was stuck at home or in the office, and no one could come up to the shop. It was awful. It was awful.
You must have been lonely.
I smoked. I would sit on the tractor and smoke joints and watch YouTube.
And they paid you for this.
Oh, I reran security cameras through the entire building. Like I set up a 4 television camera system.
Oh wow.
I still haven't sat in my dad's office. People they're like you're an atheist, but you're scared to go in there. No, like to
I
me,
don't
I've
need
been
to.
a rebel. I've been a rebel my whole life, so it's weird to have a desk. Like it's even weird to have a desk in here.
Yeah.
But I'm like the Pee Wee Herman. I'm a rebel, Dottie.
Oh goodness gracious.
You know, I'm glad that you're streaming though. Like, I'm not a fan of holidays.
Yeah, I they're no I don't know. They used to be more fun when I was younger, but now that I don't have family that lives close. I've got friends, but nobody. I mean, have a spiritual religious practice, but Easter is not one of the holidays I celebrate. And if you don't have, it seems like holidays are for kids. And if you're a child, if you've got like fur babies and not two like bipedal humans, it's like, what's the point? They're just kind of depressing, I think, after a while.
Oh, same. My Isaiah spends most holidays with his mom because I'm
Right.
not a holiday fan. I'm not. And she goes all out. She does a Christmas tree. She has a younger child. You know, he's 3, so you see magic through his eyes. I get it. You know,
Right.
me, I'm like, hey, you want some carne asada, kid? Here, there's a chocolate bunny here.
I know. Oh, I did forget. I'm gonna have to go to the drugstore tomorrow so I can get a 50% off Cadbury cream egg because they do like me them.
I go crazy on the Reese's eggs, and now they
Those are
have
good
Christmas
too.
trees. They have pumpkins.
Yeah.
I agree, Kilroy. And like all throughout my 20s, I was alone, so I worked every holiday, and it lost the meaning to me. It honestly lost its meaning to me.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaiah's not like he's not a little guy anymore. So like I remember the last Christmas he looked at me, not last Christmas, but years ago, he looked at me and he's like, oh, Santa is real. And I was like, okay, magic still exists a little bit, okay? But now he's old and jaded.
Yeah, and it just feels like another corporate cash grab, like everything these days.
That's why, like, even the outrage with like Bud Light and stuff, people don't realize that Bud Light, okay, when you turn the corner during Pride and you take one step on Santa Monica Boulevard, it used to be C-to-C people, everybody high-fiving, it was gay heaven. Now you see billboards, you see Coors, you see Spectrum, and like the corporations have completely commercialized Pride. Commercialized, if that's a word. They have completely made Pride commercial. And so the people who participate don't even want these people there. You know, that's the stuff that made me laugh. Like,
yeah.
Well, to answer what Kilroy is saying, like, aren't Hallmark holidays made up?
Right, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, but they don't have cards for like President's Day.
Secretary's Day, you know.
Right. Doctor Appreciation Day.
Oh yeah. Hallmark totally corner of the market, I could smell the candles. Like when I say Hallmark, I could smell their old stores.
Oh, they did have a funny scent.
Hallmark had a very distinct smell to it.
Not as weird as Bath and Body Works, though.
I miss the mall experience because I'm tactile. I miss that, like roaming around, just the mood music. You hear the fountain going.
Yeah. Oh, cinnamon rolls.
Ooh, I just stabbed myself. I grabbed that in the wrong direction. Oops. Pay attention, sewing. Pay attention.
Oh, that's when if I yell porcupine, I just stabbed myself with a pin or a needle. That's my attempt at not swearing.
And that's like my natural response is, oh, 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 oh. Like,
yep.
I thought it was the back, and my thumb is so chewed up that there's like when I push down in the needle, it goes in my thumb because it's like I'm a hand sewer, so part of it's missing.
Right. Oh, I love it when you just like hold your finger up and you're like, oh, that layer of skin has no nerves in it because I can see the needle all the way through. Now I should probably pull this out.
And I should use a thimble because I'm using an extra sharp needle, an extra sharp, like a no joke needle.
Yeah,
but I'm doing this with precision because I want this battle vest to last.
Awesome. I know for the longest time I didn't know how to sew with a thimble, and then I just started, and I'm like, oh, this makes things so much easier.
And I have freakishly large hands, I just have to I think I'm gonna have to make my own at the shop. That's not a bad idea.
Or you could just sew a leather one.
That's
true.
Both. Oh, I have banjo picks to be extraordinary. Where are my banjo picks?
That would be an option. Stay safe, Liz, at your... Let's see here. Oh, well, I'm thinking of the whole, like the Bud Light stuff. I kept seeing Ollie London complaining about it. I'm like, wow, if Ollie London is complaining, what's happening?
But Ollie London was doing Korean face. Ollie London makes me so mad. So now he's doing he's into rage porn. No, I'm sorry. He's a rage farmer. So he's a failed YouTuber, and now he's just fake outrage makes me angry because he doesn't care about those people. He didn't care about Korean people when he was pretending to be them. You know what I'm saying? Like what's happening is people are declaring war on homosexuality, and he's gay too. I know. I'm trying not to be an ageist. I'm trying not to be, but I am gonna move to the mountains and just Kilroy, where do you live? I'm gonna move half a mile from wherever you live. Me and my tractor and my overalls.
I think you would fit right in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania.
I bet the Amish have the best marijuana around.
The Amish?
And that's another thing. Bud Light was only for soccer fans anyways. I don't know. Like, who's drinking Bud Light in 2023?
Oh, gosh.
You ain't lying, Kilroy. You ain't lying. Kid Rock got me going because he wasted perfectly good bullets on a can of beer pee to be nice.
Yeah, it's the grossest tasting beer ever.
And because I know they're not watching, I used to live with my ex-wife and her stepdad and her mom. Her stepdad. And my dad was the same way, so I'm not talking trash because my dad was the same way, but he drank whiskey, vodka, and like Corona. But he would drink 1 to 2 cases of Bud Light every night. And I'm talking about
like that. Yeah, like the 1824 Packers.
Yeah. And so when I started living there, he's like, "Oh, William's here," so he started buying 3 cases a night because I was good for 6 or 7. Or, you know, if I was feeling fishy, I was good for like 8 or 9, you know, but like.
Hey, well, if they're only 4% alcohol, like, depending, you either
Exactly.
drink them casually and like have to pee once an hour, or you're like, I can't drink enough of this to get a buzz.
Oh my gosh, Kilroy. Yes, Kid Rock does look like. Do you know what's so funny? I thought he was wearing makeup.
Wouldn't that be funny?
When he pulled up with his MP5, I was like, you are not allowed to be wearing makeup and talking trash about a community that wears makeup. He looked like he had concealer on. He looked like he had, or he just has perfect skin for someone his age.
Well, he does have enough money to. Oh, good. Liz is back. She caught up with the porcupines.
Oh, porcupines are terrifying.
They are, and getting. Oh, the one day, my pincushion was on the floor, and one of us stepped on it, so it literally felt like you just stepped on a porcupine.
Oh, and they jump. Cats, what's wrong with you? And they jump. Oh, I'm so excited. I am a Klingon. I am a real life Klingon. That is what I am. That is my orientation. House of Sewing.
I'm a circle. I identify as a circle, and you can't convince me otherwise.
I'm gonna I've been sewing a lot of stuff. I made this do you see my flower coat? I'm so bad at directions.
Oh, that is so cute.
And underneath it is my striped shirt that was gonna be a jacket, which is now just an African. Well, I don't know what to call it. It's super long with a big pocket.
So like a dashiki, but not.
Well, I'm going for like the Technicolor coat, so it's all African. I don't, you know what it is? The whole reason I even made that was because like sometimes I feel like I am that person who lives in a world of gray and I'm walking around bright as hell.
Yeah. Have you ever sewn with any of the African wax print fabrics, like the real ones?
No, I'm scared too.
There.
I'm scared. I like there are certain prints where I'm like, I need to take a class so I don't destroy this. Because I have I know what I know, but there's certain I know leather work and I would shock people on some of this stuff. My last pants were a disgrace.
Well, you gotta not make them skin tight so they show all the bits and bobs. Yeah. Hello, Skids.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, goodness.
But I'm definitely, and that's the one thing about sewing is I have improved so much just in the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's like any skill. If you don't do it, then you're not going to improve. And then the more you do it, the better you get until you just make the same stupid mistakes over and over for a while. But...
True. I'm going to make... What constitutes privacy? And the reason I ask this is because I have a GoPro that I could wear like a cop cam because I want to take people into my Hobby Lobby experience. But I'm big on privacy and I don't want to show people's faces.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can always blur them later because either in your whatever program you use for your editing, or isn't there a blur feature in the native YouTube app now? Or the YouTube Studio has got a blur feature.
I'm gonna have to look into that because I have Apple products and they have a completely different system to the point where when I tried to do editing in the PC, I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know how to download a file. Like, I'm screwed.
Oh, it's not that bad. I mean, I use DaVinci. It's fine. It's got a little bit of a learning curve, but I think they all do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Kilroy says you should take one of your dad's tiny cameras and sew it into something.
I literally have a box of them. I have a box of spy cams. He was crazy. Like, I love that guy. He was an electrical engineer, an engineer in general, but he never stopped thinking. And I have a bunch of lapel cams. I have a ton, and they're good quality too.
Right, because he's no fool.
Yeah, I am a boomer, Skits. I came in the community saying that one. I was raised by boomers and pre-boomers.
Right, like the literal kind we joke about being boomers, but we're really not.
No, I was just raised by. I feel like a boomer though, because there is some technology where I'm like, I walk up to my son, I'm like, all right, look, I'm at an impasse. I need your help. Don't give me any gruff.
There are things where you're like, where's the nearest teenager? I need assistance. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he you know, we're not morning people. We're not morning people. He homeschools. We're mid-afternoon people. He made a testing schedule for like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh God.
And we have not like when I was soccer dad getting up every day pre-COVID, I was a morning person. I was that annoying mofo doing backflips, like dropping off his kid, literally pounding my coffee, literally this cup. But that was how many years ago? It's, you know, we've had endless summer. He's been homeschooling since 5th grade and he's in the 8th grade now.
Okay, so 3 years.
We're not morning people at all. My job schedule, I moved it to the afternoon.
Yeah.
Or to like mid-morning, like 4:30 in the morning when no one's around. But like, you know, we're not morning people.
If I have to work, I'd rather my work be done in the morning so I could play in the afternoon. The worst is like waiting around all day and then I'm like, oh, I'd have to go into the office at 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Yeah.
That is bad. Like, I am weirdly a night owl. Oh man, I don't want to get. I think it's because in even though I live in California, I'm on Australia time. That's why I started watching some of their television because I could watch it live at 3:30 in the morning.
I don't mind mornings. I just don't like having to. I don't know. They just are.
And I'm not like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get up and like fight traffic. And I live in the land of SUVs, so it's not like my big gaudy truck is gonna like be obscene because everybody else drives giant vehicles around here. I've always wondered about that. Like, we live kind of out where you would need a truck or something, but still we live in a city. Like, I live in a city. I could drive out to the mountains, you know. But like, it's not like in LA where you're completely concrete locked in. Like, we are in a way. But people buy these giant tricked out trucks, or they'll buy what's called a Baja kit, and they never go to the dirt. Like,
I guess where you are, people are rich enough that it's not going to matter. But is it really true that car registration is somewhere between $800 and $1,100?
Yeah. And I haven't registered my truck, my TARDIS blue truck. It dawned on me I'm gonna owe the state of California almost $3,000, almost $4,000 because I haven't registered in a couple of years.
Oh my God!
Our speeding tickets start at $1,500.
Oh God!
So anybody, if you get caught, like, they cripple you. They literally cut your feet out from underneath you because the average person can't afford that.
No.
I've heard police officers say, like, I don't know how people can afford this. They can't. Not everybody had Nigerian parents like me.
I know. Well, I heard it that some of that was because they're trying to like force people to give up their cars to take public transit, but that doesn't work for everybody.
I'm obsessed with cricket and rugby skits and Australian rules football. I don't know what's going on, but it's fun to watch. I agree, Kilroy. They make this big, beefy, meaty truck with a 4-inch bed, or a 4-foot bed. A 4-foot bed.
It's all right. What do you put in there? Like your lawnmower?
My old clanky truck is 25 feet long. Like I could put drywall, camping supplies. Like I could put all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah. I know California is too expensive for me too, Liz.
It's unreal. It's unreal the prices we pay. And because of the internet, I know the rest of America is not paying Disneyland prices like we pay here. No way. No way.
We are not. All right. 3 eyelets done. And I left the press on the other side of the room. I made a disaster of my sewing living room this morning. I'm scared to have to pick it up later, but we're not there yet.
I always clean up before a stream because I don't want people to see how much of a sewing slob I am. I throw fabric. When I'm sewing, fabric will fly where it flies. It just will land where. If I don't need you at the moment, you will find yourself on the shag carpet.
Fair, I know. Well, that's why I've got the camera angle just so that nobody else can see my state of disrepair but me.
I am kind of burnt. I'm weirdly burnt out too. Oh, I signed up for Rumble.
Oh, congratulations!
So I'm godless. So it will be a Rumble year.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I have to I just have to hook it up on. I did it on my phone, so I have to sign in on my computer.
Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. It's pretty straightforward. I know I keep hoping because the no, my chat on Rumble doesn't have anybody there, but the the past 2 weeks, today included, the CEO of Rumble, Chris P, whatever his name is, has been raiding live streams and just dropping hundies. I was like,
I'm signing up.
You can drop me some cash.
Is that a new code in the back? Yes, Elizabeth, it's my flower. Oh, I'm so bad at angles. My right is left. It's my flower code. And Kilroy, since honestly, even before COVID, there was a mass exodus out of California. Millions of people have moved out of California.
I know, but then the rest of the country doesn't want Californians either, so they're like ruining everything everywhere.
The thing about California, and I'll tell you the honest truth, is that we move places and we vote blue. That's the real reason why people hate California. They show up with shit tons of money and they vote blue.
Well, on this random voting stuff, wouldn't it be funny if the presidential opponents was RFK Jr. and Trump?
Oh gosh.
Like, I don't know which is
Trump's problem is that he's such a putz.
I know, but people like him.
Do you know? Okay, I'm gonna say this disclaimer. I'm not a fan of any politician. I'm gonna look dead in the camera. I am not a fan of any politician. So when I say this, I'm not. I think if you crave power like that, you need a psych eval, and we need to send you to one of those weird islands off of Florida.
Yeah.
That people don't know about unless you Google it.
Right. I wouldn't mind being on the one with all the cats. What was it that that author who okay, never mind. But yeah.
And after it was the Barack Obama, the first election when he ran with Hillary Clinton and all them, they started, that was maybe it was the first time I noticed, but they were all running a year and a half, 2 years before the election started, and they're doing it again now.
Liz is trying to get everybody trashed on the chat today.
Do you know, I'm so surprised. That used to be a word that you couldn't say on YouTube. So I used to always say
Trump
he
or
who
trashed?
Trump.
Oh, Orange Man, yeah.
If you said it too many times, they'd take your stream down.
That's so funny. Well, I can't remember where on Twitter, but somebody posted a thing like on Carrie Lake's Instagram account. You have to like check this button to be like, are you sure you really want to follow this person because they're a weirdo? And I was like, I'm gonna go and follow her not because I like her, but because you told me that I was gonna like being bad by getting that far. Oh, yeah.
I need a vacation.
Vienna's weird.
I got alcohol. I've got alcohol poisoning before, kids. You know, it's not fun. It is not fun.
No, I have this magical habit of vomiting.
A long time ago, a friend of mine, I was my son's age, we stole my dad's Safeway bottle of gold charcoal filtered tequila. And it was like my grandfather and my father were obsessed with making margaritas. They would throw parties just to make margaritas. Like they were drunks. So they had bottles of that cheap stuff laying around because they would make like really fancy margaritas. But when everyone got wasted, they would be like, oh, house brand. They started making it with the cheap stuff, you know?
Right. If you're not sober enough to appreciate the taste and quality, then you can get like the swilkila.
But a friend of mine, we stole the bottle. We were pounding it, walking down the street. We thought we were pirates. We barely made it back to my parents' house. And like they took us both to the hospital. Yeah, alcohol poisoning is real. I was a dumb kid. Alcohol poisoning.
I don't doubt it. I just, yeah. Oh gosh. Oh man.
Oh, house brand. I grew up. I have this argument every time I go to the grocery store with Isaiah, and I know it's his ASD. But he's like, it's better quality. Why don't we just get this? This is better quality. And I'm like, bro, I literally grew up on Multimeal. Like, you can't like say anything to me about it. Like I grew up on house brand.
Oh my, wow, Kilroy, I don't know how your liver still works on half a gallon of vodka a day.
That reminds me of my whiskey. I whiskey challenged myself almost to death.
Oh, we're in pirate mode. Okay, you be safe at work, Liz. We're gonna. I know, and that's yeah. We're just gonna like go all in on Trump for a few minutes because that whole political theater stunt that they did in New York this week was just ridiculous.
It was. Do you know what's so funny? I was watching it and I'm like, watch. I'm gonna go to Fox News and they're gonna show Trump going home. I go to Fox News and it's the plane going back to me. I was like, this is theater. This is Wag the Dog. This is Wag the Dog.
like the amount of taxpayer money that they spent on that whole charade and the stuff. There's not even. They didn't even state clearly what law he broke. And Alvin Braggs has had it out for him for like 10 years now.
My son asked me, he's like, how come Trump didn't go to jail? I said he has lawyers. And Isaiah looked me dead in the eyes. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. In America, I don't care who you are, what you've done. If you have a lawyer, you probably won't go to jail. Depending on there are certain crimes you're going to go to jail.
Right.
But
the security, like he's got the Secret Service still follow him around. Like who would be in charge? Like that would have just been a security nightmare of like, no, my testicles are bigger than yours. No, yeah. We're going to watch him. No, we're going to watch him. No, we're going to Epstein him. No, what?
He would have to. I don't know where you'd put him though.
There's no like.
There's not a federal. They would literally have to build a prison to put him in.
Yeah, and New York can't shoulder that. They're taxed enough. Oh, Kilroy, you're too funny. When I catch any cable news, I'm like, how the fuck do people watch this. They're brainwashed.
Whenever there's like, and the scary thing is they all have the same cameras, the same camera angles, they have the same footage. Because I flip between all of them. And because I have super cable, the creepy thing is I watch a lot of hockey, so I have the TSN, and I have a few Canadian channels. They show our news in Canada with the same footage. It's creepy. Yeah, to me, it's creepy.
Well, what is it? There's only 3, maybe 4 media conglomerates that own all of the local broadcast networks, and sometimes the same conglomerate will own the local ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. So they're all telling the same story because they've all have to answer to the same higher ups.
Exactly. So it's creepy to me. I always put it on though because I know they're gonna have like 24-hour-a-day coverage of it here in LA. Okay, this is what they do when there's a fire. They will get footage of a tree burning, a house burning, and a field burning, and then they will show it on a loop for 24 hours. Every news story, they'll show the same bulldozer pushing over the same tree over and over. It's sensationalized. It drives me crazy.
It is weird. I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm looking at the chat. I'm all about pirate sewing.
Yeah. I'm gonna sew hooks and eyes and get these pants done because I want to wear them. And you have to sew the hooks and bars and not attach them. Wear them out of the house with safety pins one more time.
I do that. No judgment whatsoever. I do that.
I know.
I've been rocking my. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna put the snaps on it, but I heard them in England. They're called poppers, and mine always literally pop open. I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna wear these to work, I should probably make sure that nobody's gonna see the goods.
Do you know? And where I'm from, calling anything poppers is a whole different.
Oh, right. It's amyl nitrate.
Spanish fly, patchouli. I'm letting out gay secrets. They're gonna take my card away for that one. Those LA charts. We are on a different planet here. We are. LA's lit. Like, people don't pull over for the cops here. They do not. Like, LA's. That is one thing. If there's a high-speed chase on TV, my son, like, because he watches television, I don't. He'll be like, bro, there's a chase on. We're morbid humans. And fun fact, in Los Angeles County, 30% of people get away with high-speed chases.
Oh, God.
So if you're on a motorcycle and you know the area, or like people, during 2020, one person pulled into a mall parking lot, and all of a sudden people started doing that, and they started getting away.
And they do all those stupid pit maneuvers. Like, what? LA County's bizarro.
It's violent. It's actually extremely violent here. Because at any moment, like, that's the sad thing about the cops is that's the one thing I always say is that it's not about race. They'll shoot anybody here.
Right, because the black cops are almost worse than the white cops, maybe.
Yes. Especially in the Hispanic community, like, oh man, it always seems like someone has something to prove. Boys in the Hood is a good movie for that because it shows the black cop is worse than any of the white cops. And even the white cop tells the black cop, like, hey, back off. I love Boys in the Hood because it actually sent a message.
Yeah.
It didn't glorify gang life. It was like, hey, look at how shitty this life is, you know?
Oh, that's a good segue. So did you hear about the juror from the Young Thug case who got held in contempt for videoing or recording during jury selection or whatever? The judge threw him into jail for 3 days.
Poor kid's just trying to make money off of World Star hip hop. He just wants to go viral. Idiot. I'd put him in jail for a month. I'd be like, I'll be right back. I need to Google something. I would put him in jail for as long as he could. As you could legally put him in jail. That
I think it was a
I've had dreams. Oh, it was a lady. Oh, wow. A lot of my neighbor found this out. You cannot just randomly record people. I'm sorry. You think you can. You have the power to. But
right.
then you're going to be held responsible for your actions.
Right. And especially during jury selection, like if you're in the courthouse, there is no recording. They tell you these things.
There's
signs. You were breaking the rules.
There are literally in LA, they have giant signs that says turn off your cell phone, idiot. You are not allowed to broadcast in here.
Yep,
especially in family court.
Oh, well, yeah, because that's usually there's like minors involved. That's worse than criminal court.
So, do you know that whole it shocks me how much people, excuse me, the extent that they'll go to go viral. It goes back to when I was going off last Monday night about people who waste food. I will fight you. I will find you and I will fight you.
Well, that's like the kid in Tennessee who was trying to like do a prank at some mall, some YouTuber, and the guy didn't think it was funny and they shot him.
There's an actual trope in the Black community where they're trying to tell the younger kids, like, don't prank the older guys, they'll shoot you. Like, they're trying to get the word out. Like, I'm gonna retweet it one day when I see it, because there's always like, look, youngsters, I'm 55, I'll hurt you. And then they're because my Twitter is awful, there's this young man was trying to pull a prank on this dude where I don't know if it was his girlfriend, it might have been his mom, but this guy was like 6'7", and he walks up and he's like, hey baby, you're hot. And the guy, he was like, I'm not talking to you. And the guy looked at him, he was like, have you lost your mind? He picked this kid up and pinned him up, and I could tell it was Walmart. I could tell it was Walmart. And the kid's like, it's a prank. And the guy's like, I don't care, you're about to get beat up.
I know, like all the people who like need to film in public places like the Costco or the Walmarts, like people are just trying to shop and mind their own business.
Dude, don't run up on me. Please do not run up on me. I'm gonna make you famous. Do not prank me. I'm gonna make you famous. We're gonna go viral together.
I'm gonna teach you how to sew, kid. You pranked me. Get over here. We're going to the sewing machine section.
You kidding me? I got over 80 sewing machines and an eye bolt and a chain. I'm waiting to start a sweatshop. Come here, kid. Come here. Come here. You know, You're dad
learn how to make battle vests if you like it or not, kid.
My dad used to threaten that all the time as I was a kid. He'd be like, bro, I have an eye bolt and a chain. Do you know, it took me 15 years to figure out what that was. Basically a cuff. It's basically a cuff. No, I agree, Kilroy. I've said this for years. I'm surprised that these people haven't got shot. That's why, like right now, especially like with everything that's going on in LA, they're warning people like, bro, now is not the time to prank people. People are tense. We're going back outside, you know, because the weather's nice.
And nobody knows how to take a joke.
I'm sensitive because I have a special needs child, and I try not to be, but I'm on like I call it force tolerance with Isaiah. It was different when he was younger and he would stem uncontrollably or like make a noise. And someone would look at me, I'd look him dead in the eyes like, can I help you? Can I? You know, it's different now, you know, but I'm going through like, I miss the little guy. I think that's what it is. He grew up and I miss like, that was my buddy. And because he has ASD, I had a couple extra years of him being young, you know?
Right.
Like we had
a standard teenager.
And you know, it's so ironic. Like he found Jesus. And now I find myself like, I don't like the YouTuber Matt Dillahunty, but I totally gave my son the Matt Dillahunty answer when he was like, "Well, you're an atheist." I said, "Well, I don't see any evidence for God. It's not that I don't believe in God, and I can't believe I just quoted Matt Dillahunty." But I didn't want to like the one annoying thing is when an atheist dunks on a Christian and they're like, "What about this?" And this guy, this says this, and they didn't exist. It's like, let people believe what they want. If you're not harming anybody.
If it's not literally harming you, then
yeah,
go ahead.
And my ex-wife and we talked about it. Like, as long as she doesn't want him to go to a church at all. Because we both work in the field of people with special needs, and human beings take advantage of people with special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying as a whole, but people like, I just watched footage of a paramedic taking $60 out of someone dying grandma house on Twitter. Twitter's awful.
Oh God, that's horrible.
That's what I can't sleep at night with some of the stuff I see on Twitter. But anyways. Yeah. My ex-wife was
he's at risk for being a token ×2.
Oh gosh. So like basically we're just like, all right, if he goes to church, like I'm going with him then,
Right. Yeah, because you can't leave him unattended.
No way.
There's creepo priests.
No. And he wants to join. Like, the funny thing is, like, he's like, "Can I go to church with grandma?" I called my mom. My mom was like, "You can go anytime. We leave at 10:45." So he can go. My mom will fight. I know my mom will fight. So he can go with grandma.
Yeah, don't mess with the abuelitas.
Oh, I know. She'll. Are you kidding me? If I was going to get in a fight right now, I'd call my mom to back me up. She's tough.
Right, because she'd bring the rolling pin and the cast iron skillet.
Oh, damn right. Damn right.
You're like, knife to a gunfight? No, she's got a rolling pin.
It makes me sad when I see people like prank cleaning a cast iron pans on Twitter and stuff. They're like, "Oh, look." And the person's like, "You destroyed my pan. I hate you." Like, people do.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, those prank YouTubers, like, I'm too sensitive for that. I didn't even like Tom Green back in the day.
Not my style of humor.
Maybe I'm stuffy. Maybe I'm one of those people like you just don't. I don't know. I just wouldn't run up on somebody.
No.
And for a while there was, and it happened in LA, and I saw it on YouTube, and I'm like, I don't know how these guys didn't go to federal prison. They would dress up like they were from Saudi Arabia, and then they would throw backpacks at people and run, and everybody would start running because they thought it was a
bomb. Oh God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, like I'm surprised those guys did not get at least beat up by the cops. I'm glad that you're back with. Yes. But that whole genre of pranking YouTubers, it really trips me out. But do you think that's because there were pranksters back in my day, but do you think we have less consequences now than back in the day?
It seems like it, or whether just like the kids. I guess we're the kids who may or may not have grown up watching Jackass. Now they're like, how do we deal with that? Like, that level of is not. They feel like they have to push it because it's all been done before.
I feel like that in the LGBTQIA plus community and in the rap community, they keep on trying to one up and like they keep on trying to do something better because everybody's a wannabe Tupac.
Yes. Ugh, darn it all. There's nothing like sewing something until you realize that I sewed it on backwards. All right, no more hooks and bars. Effed up once. Next project.
That's why I ripped the hood off of my my super gay African frock thing I made. I was like, done. I'm done. I'll show you the hood right now. I messed up so bad.
Okay, don't rip the fabric with the stitch ripper. Do not rip the fabric with the stitch
gosh,
ripper.
I am sweating right now. I am gonna wither this summer.
My heater's still going off right now.
All right, let's ask the A word. Let's see how whiny I am. Alexa, what's the temperature right now?
Right now, it's 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Would you also like to check the air quality?
84. Yes, Alexa.
Shut.
Alexa, thank you.
You're so welcome. Your kindness really gives me a charge.
Aww.
Remember that when the robot armies come, they're going to walk right past my house and say, oh, he was nice to his Alexa.
I refuse to have one. It's bad enough when I talk to my Fire Stick, and that took me a long time to feel comfortable doing.
I'm literally asking a phone tap for directions. I am literally saying, phone tap, what's the temperature? Phone tap, what time is it right now? But I didn't, I measured it, but I sewed the middle too tight, so the neck didn't go all the way around. And like it would choke me if I was to.
Right. Nice for show, so but not for practice.
I couldn't get my big fat head through it. And I was so mad. I went to bed. I was like, I'm not doing this. I went to bed. I woke up. I was like, oh, you're still here? Oh, you're still here.
I thought I put you in the naughty pile.
Exactly. So I took the hood off. I will repurpose this though, because I did spend a lot of time and detail on that hood. So I should make a bag. I need a grocery bag. And I do make giant hoods. I do make giant hoods. I could just finish that, put 2 loops on it, and call it a day. That's not a bad idea.
Because I need to.
Well, we get charged for grocery bags, but more and more, it's just an annoyance.
Yeah.
Because I always forget my bags, you know.
Oh, we're good about remembering ours because we also have a grocery bag, 5 or 10 cents, whatever it is.
Is it illegal? I have a weird California question. Is it illegal to recycle green glass where you live?
I've not heard that, so I'm going to go with no. But what comes in green glass anymore?
Yeah, true. Wine bottles. They tell us not to. Fair. They tell us not to recycle them anymore, to throw them in the trash. And the trash companies made record profits off of recycling in the past 5 or 6 years. So we think there's this weird conspiracy between the city and the trash people, you know.
Oh, maybe. What was I hearing? That Mark Robert, who's down by your way, was like, yeah, I stopped separating the plastics out of the trash because the homeless folks come and do it for me, and then they take it to the center and then get paid for whatever plastics they bring in. Let's see here, Liz. There is a lot more incentive to be a jackass these days. You can now get sponsored and get paid for being an absolute idiot on YouTube. Yes. Oh, she says it's raining. Not at all summer. No, it is not summer in the beautiful state of Oregon.
I used to tell Liz that we live on different planets because of our weather. Like, it is 84 degrees right now.
Yeah, nope. Not.
If it's like this tomorrow, I might fill the fountain. I miss swimming in the backyard. Oh, the kitty will love it. Yes. Are cats water people?
It depends on the cat. They do like moving water. Some cats will like drink. Oh, one of mine used to. If you had the faucet dripping, they would drink out of the sink.
Odin does that, and I think it's disgusting to the point where it would drink out of a flower pot. And I emptied the flower pot, and now I put fresh water in the flower pot.
Oh, that's good. Yeah,
because I thought it was
nice water.
It had like all the dirt from last year's failed attempt at growing in that particular pot, you know?
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I might film it. I don't know if anyone's gonna care about my farming though, because I might have a sea of potato.
I'm just glad I found my horseradish plants. I wasn't sure that they were still alive.
I mistakenly didn't cut my rose bush or my grapes, and they're fighting each other already. What? How big can a rose bush get? Because I've ignored it, and it's freakishly large. Like it's
they can get
huge.
They can get quite huge.
It's almost higher than the fence.
Oh, that's cute. I'm working on that. My secret rose garden. My roses are not quite big enough yet.
I love this smell. Roses, like during the summer, I love sitting in my backyard. I love sitting in my backyard, just between the smell of the roses and like the calmness of the freeway that's slowly giving me cancer. A long time ago, I saw a study of people that live by the freeway in Los Angeles, and they had an extremely high rate of cancer.
Oh, I think I missed you.
Oh, did I cut out?
I think so.
I can kind of tell when I look at the other screen. I can kind of tell. I have to get Karen on Spectrum again.
Yeah.
If I told you how much money I paid just to watch hockey and have the internet, you would point and laugh at me, and I would deserve it. And my signal's
a monopoly, and there's no other companies.
We have AT&T, but they're so notoriously bad that like everybody abandoned them for Spectrum. And AT&T slows your signal down on purpose. Like they admitted to doing a bunch of janky stuff. Like,
oh, that's gross. Yeah, weirdos.
Because we like for the longest time I had the worst internet, and then when I switched to Spectrum, I was like, oh, this is what the rest of the world experiences, like working Wi-Fi.
But you usually worked good until like all the kids were schooling from home and I was trying to work, and I'm like, oh my gosh, stop, get off the internet, kids.
I don't miss that. That is one thing. In this room, I have a router, an Arrow. Do you know what Arrow is?
No.
It's a yuppie home router. It's embarrassing how much money I spent on that stupid thing. And I have another hotspot next to it.
Oh gosh.
You could see it from here. Oh no, you can't because my sewing machine's in the way. But I have booster upon booster upon booster in this room. Oh, and my Husqvarna Viking finally died.
Oh no.
I might give it a Viking funeral, but I don't believe in setting sewing machines on fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna burn this summer. Oh, and that reminds me, raccoons are disgusting because a raccoon, I keep suntan lotion in my backyard.
Okay.
And a raccoon ate a bottle of suntan lotion.
Oh, that's gross.
Raccoons are disgusting because Isaiah dropped it and didn't pick it up. And like the lazy me was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And I came back and it was chewed and licked. Odin didn't do it. I know skunks. Odin's not going to eat stinking suntan lotion. Oh, it made me laugh. Trash pandas are gross.
Buttons. Go ahead.
Since you've been online, how have you navigated? Like, have you been drama free?
I have been, but I'm still a nobody. And your chat who's come over to hang out is generally been very kind folks. So I've been okay.
I've attracted a few trolls, and I think like the more I stand up for myself, the worse it gets. Because like when I ignore it, like it'll slowly go away. But when I stand up, they're just trolling.
They double down.
Having no life is weird to me. Like I got all kinds of stuff that I gotta do. That doesn't include fighting people on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of I made a promise to myself to not do that, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like the folks who just, they hang out in their parents' basement, they have no life, and they're like, I'm going to type these things, but they would never have the gall to say things to your face.
Never in a million years, especially because they would be so embarrassed if they got beat up by a gay guy. They'd be so embarrassed. They would never, their ego would never recover from that one. Yeah, Liz, like I stupidly did not cut the rose bush. You know, a lot of it was just out of like, I like the gothic look. I like the overhang of my grapes and the giant rose bush.
I do too. I tried to go out and prune them, but it got cold so fast in the autumn time, and it's been so cold that it's just not been the right time to do any of those things.
I'm gonna have to video.
Well, okay, let me make myself big so I can be super huge.
Ooh, I like those.
And they've got a little loopy on them because they're just for decoration. They don't need to be functional. That's what the hook and bars are for.
I do that though. I hate buttonholing anything, and I'm obsessed with putting buttons on everything.
I know. I'm gonna put buttons on that Daisy shirt, and I think I might be brave and test out my buttonholer for my other machine, but I will not do that on stream.
I just haven't had success. And you know what's funny? For as long as I've been sewing, I'm like, it's me. I know it's me. I know I'm doing something wrong. It's me. Same with self-winding bobbins. I made a video about it. People are like, hey, dummy, you just do this and this. I'm like, look, I know it's me, okay? I know. I have no idea what I'm doing with a self-winding bobbin. They're frustrating with me. It's a thing. I would never buy a new machine with a self-winding bobbin.
Yeah. I don't even want another machine with a computer in it. My baby lock is trouble enough.
And that's another thing, like just like you said, like I'm into the more traditional style of a sewing machine where I'm controlling it.
Yes.
Which reminds me is that my
I'm
brilliance
in control of my machine.
You know what? Tomorrow night I'm gonna bring the Kenmore back to life since it's just sitting there. I'll go.
We're gonna resurrect a sewing machine.
Well, I did it that one night with the first night Commander came on.
Yep.
I have so many sewing tables in here. I'm completely thinking about renovating this entire room. After taking down the Klingon flag, I was one of those kids who constantly changed their room.
Yeah.
So I'm a rearranger big time. And plus, it does look like a Tijuana belt shop in here.
You want it? We got it. $5.
Or like one of those weird shops you see on Hollywood Boulevard or downtown anywhere, you know.
Yeah. Really silly.
Today has been a surreal day. This is a good, this is relaxing. This is why I like streaming with you, because this is relaxing compared to like everything else. I
know. I look forward to it. I'm like, is it Sunday so I can stream? But then I'm like, oh, it's Sunday, which means tomorrow's Monday, and kind of boo. But
I know I do just like this time of year because it's like testing for the kid, and I forgot what it was to be a soccer mom. I hate traffic.
Yeah. Yep, that's why I don't live in Seattle anymore.
And I forgot about that. And anytime Isaiah has an early thing, it's like, I gotta drive grandma because the cops are out. Do you know the cops make their quotas off of soccer moms?
I believe it.
They just hang out near an elementary school and you could freaking get your quota, you know? It's ridiculous. It's freaking and then they get right behind me thinking that my truck, like, nah, dude, I got all my tags.
Right.
Everything matches. It comes back to my ID.
Right. And that same one who knows better and then keeps trolling you.
I'm gonna do a social experiment and not wear my cowboy hat and see what happens.
All right.
Because I think one of the reasons, like, I'm so easily identifiable because I am the guy. I wear a cowboy hat in public. You know, you could spot me a mile away.
I prepped all sorts of stuff and I'm like, I don't want to do any of it right now.
Same. I had like tables of stuff ready and I'm like, no. It's because I ate a ton of carne asada and beans.
I'm too
and I knew my oh gosh. Oh my gosh. The coffee helps though. It's bringing me back to life. It is hot. I know nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it.
Stop complaining. I could only wish for 80 degrees right now. I'll take like 72, and that's not usually hot enough for me.
I live in the desert. Like, it gets hot here. It gets super, especially where I live. It's like on the cusp, like the very outskirts of LA County. So it gets hot. I can tell because my shoulders are a different color than my face. It's time for a tan. It is definitely time for a tan. Oh yeah, I'm one color. It's time for a tan. I don't have my farmer's tan yet.
You're not sunburned behind your neck yet.
I get straight red neck. But no, it's because I wear my cowboy hat. I don't get when I used to wear my mossy oak hat, I would get a red, or my Dodger hat. But now that I wear my my cowboy hat,
yeah.
I am excited for my battle vest, though. I have a feeling, though, that no one under 40 is going to understand it.
That's okay.
That is true. At least if you see it in a viral picture, you'll know where it came from.
Right.
There's been a ton of times where I feel like people have taken my picture. Because I do stand out. I do. And I reek of marijuana. I wear jiggly keys. I look crazy. I know.
Like, what's that weirdo in the corner doing?
What's this guy who... Especially like when I go to the fabric store, I get looks. They're like, are you lost, sir?
I know. Are you sure? Are you sure you weren't supposed to end up at Home Depot today?
It's different though. Like when I go to the fashion district, they don't speak a word of English to me.
Yeah.
I actually, there's a woman that works at the Walmart, the new one that I go to because I'm a Karen and I wind my way out of going to the other one. And she, I love the look on her face because she was like, she told me, she's like, I don't speak English. I am so sorry. I said, okay. And I told her in Spanish, I need 5 yards of this and I need 4 yards of that. And she just started laughing because in Southern California, most people speak Spanish here.
Mm-hmm.
My right-wing son was like, she should speak English. I think it's important to address the fact that, like, ASD children and a lot of special needs people in general fall into mass movements, you know?
Oh, yeah, like the kid with Down syndrome who just got in trouble for being a gang member.
I saw that.
Chicago.
Is that, you know, it's really funny. That's not rare. That scary house that I refused to do work at, that kid had face tattoos. Well, he's not a kid, he's my age, but he had face tattoos.
Oh,
I would
I
never let my child. I would jump between the tattoo. I'm dramatic. I would jump between the tattoo gun and my child.
right. You can get a tattoo anywhere else but your face.
My niece, she's not watching either. She got what we call the Mike Tyson. My family calls it her Mike Tyson tattoo. She's a bigger woman, but she got a tattoo completely across her chest. It looks crazy.
Okay.
But it's from her throat all the way down underneath her breastplate is one giant piece. And she's an extremely intelligent entrepreneur. She runs her own beauty school, but it draws attention away from her because she looks crazy.
Yeah. I think you have to have
And
money to burn for a piece that big.
She is the younger generation, so she was a child of privilege.
Okay. Makes sense.
Like in my family, my generation, I was literally in a field with my brother driving a tractor. Like with my brother and I looking at each other like, what does this do? And my dad's like, figure it out. The younger generation, they grew up in the lap of luxury.
Yeah.
But it especially nowadays, to own a business, you have to have had money to start a business, you know?
It does help.
Well, she has her own school with chairs and everything else. Like those chairs, like each chair is like $1,000-something bucks, you know? Or however much those stupid beauty.
I know, in all the regulations and hooplas, I have to deal with enough of it.
I couldn't imagine just dealing with the county over, like, I'm fighting the county right now because they won't let us cut in the creek for because there's an endangered species, horny toad frog or something. Hold on, let me put my pipe down. But we have no water, so nothing exists in the canyon, in the creek. I went to a board meeting and I showed them pictures. I'm like, how is it illegal for me to and we have to do it for fire. We have to cut fire breaks.
Right.
You know. It's crazy. They're crazy people. They are great. The people in the city are literally sitting in front of a desk and they're like, oh, this diagram shows me that this is over here. And I'm like, that was taken out 25 years ago. You delusional.
Right. Yeah, I think we need term limits and people. This whole career politician pathway just doesn't make any sense because after you leave your local area, you lose touch and you don't know what's going on anymore.
Do you think having communication, having mass communication, has helped us or hurt us? Because I always thought it would inevitably help us, but socially, we've taken 5 giant steps backwards. Because now, as a species, we're just policing each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like we're the little kids who have too much power and we don't understand what we're doing with it, maybe.
And I think a lot of it is born from a generation who was beat by their parents, who turned around and did not do it, and overcompensated.
Right, and now there's nobody knows how to is disciplined anymore.
And there is middle ground to be had. You don't have to swing on somebody. There is middle ground to be found somewhere. My kid hates a speech. He hates when I get speechy and preachy.
You get that look in your eyes and you're like, come here, kid, sit down.
Well, I'm pretty subdued most of the time. When I start getting head bobby and passionate, he's like, oh, crap. I poked the bear too many times.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait till he comes back. I'm going to text my ex-wife. She needs to bring me a plate. My ex-wife's mom is a good cook to the point where she still makes me food. And it makes everyone uncomfortable, and I don't care.
Aww.
We secretly miss each other.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, whenever I drop off Isaiah, I go and, hang out with her mom and stepdad for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. To my peeps, man. You know what it is because we all grew up. We all hated each other. We went through divorce court, and now it's like, hey, we're stuck with each other. We might as well be friends, you know?
Right.
She hangs out with my mom.
Oh, that's super sweet.
We're trying to show our son that it's okay to not be together and we can still be adults and exist in the same world, you know?
Yeah, that's important because once you have a kid, you're stuck together for at least the next 18 until they leave the house. And if he's special, that he may or may not ever leave the house, depending on what his needs are.
Yeah, and once he finds out how much rent is, he's never gonna want to leave that.
I don't want to work that hard.
His dream is to move to Arizona. And I lived there, and it's kind of a nightmarish place if you don't have money because during the summer it gets to be 115, 100, 120. Like, it's gross. It is gross.
And I don't like when it's so hot out and then the air conditioners are so cold. Like, I have to wear a sweater on the inside and then melt as soon as you leave the house.
That may or may not be my house. I got a good deal. I know a guy, and my air conditioner is for a 2-story house, and I live in a 1-story house.
Okay.
And I really thought that, like because I needed an air conditioner, so I went to my buddy, and I thought my buddy was just woofing. I thought he was just woofing. I thought he was just trying to upsell me. So I bought this giant air conditioner, and one day I was smoking with a friend. We turned and we walked in my backyard, and he was like, "That is the biggest effing air conditioner I've ever seen." And I didn't realize that I really did have an air conditioner for a 2-story house.
That's funny.
So now I have this freakishly large, and it works well. But the cool thing is it saves me money because I don't have to turn it on as much.
Right. Because
it cools the house down fast because it's huge.
Yeah.
Gosh, I have to clean that thing out.
Yeah, I need to write. If you're complaining that it's 85, you need to start making your maintenance list.
That's why I started planting and everything because we don't need, do you know what the funny thing is? In Southern California, this is spring. 80s is spring because 90s and 100 is summer.
Yeah.
So it's
70s and 80s is usually spring here. We just it hasn't happened yet.
I'm interested to see what I'm really interested to see what the weather's going to be like this year because I had the greatest growth season last year.
Yeah.
But I know some years aren't the same. Like 3 years ago, I had a terrible season. 2 years ago, terrible. And then I got lucky last year.
Yeah, I'm not sure with it being with all of the moisture and rain. I'm kind of terrified for fire season because the underbrush growth is probably crazy up at the mountains.
All right, so we're a minute and a half in. Let's start triggering people. Let me go get my hats.
An hour and a half. A minute and a half.
Did I say a minute? Did I say a minute?
Yes.
Maybe
Like the cats just got fed. We've been on for a little longer than that.
This patch is older than this patch is almost my age. It's so old that the iron-on stuff behind it has disintegrated it away.
Oh, gross.
That's how old it is.
Oh,
and where's my Bud Dry patch? Do you remember Bud Dry?
No.
They had a commercial when we were little kids. It was "Why Ask Why, Drink Bud Dry."
Oh, okay.
I have a Bud Dry patch. Man, do you know what's so funny? Like people complain about oh, your kid was raised by video games. I am literally from that generation where kids were plopped in front of a television.
Yes, and if you were lucky, you had an Atari too, and then a Nintendo.
Exactly.
So we were raised by video games also. So why are they
exactly. That's what trips me out the most, especially 50 down. You were raised by video games or some sort of an electronic, you know.
Yes.
especially 50 down.
Creeps me out though, like the toddlers who know how to use, or like 2 and 3-year-olds who are savvy with their parents' phones. That terrifies me a little bit.
It's depressing. Like, I didn't buy Isaiah a PlayStation until he was much older. The tablet taught me a lesson because the second I gave him one, he tuned me out. The second, and he was we held out a little bit longer, but like the second he got a tablet, he knew how to navigate it. He knew, like, he had his own password in already. He started a Twitter. Isaiah started to. It's because he found religion, and like anything else, he's diving into it head first.
Right. And balls
So
deep.
I'll be there to catch him. Yeah, exactly. I'll be there to catch him when he fails. It just makes me laugh because like overnight, and then my ex-wife walks in and like we constantly are telling him to take care of himself. So we made him shave his chin hairs, grooming is important. Grooming, like, and not like, hanging out with people that aren't your age. I'm talking about taking care of yourself is important.
Personal hygiene. And now he has his own Manscaped.
I'm huge on that. And my ex-wife knows. And so she walked in, and it's strange to him when he has both parents telling him, like, all right, bro, I know you're not used to having both of us because we split up when he was younger.
Right.
But she was doing his hair yesterday. Do you know I have gel that I bought in 2019, because she showed me a picture that I sent to her and she's like, you need to throw this S away. The pandemic stopped everything. I used to do my son's hair every morning. I'd give him the Lionel Richie because he had curly hair. Every morning. He had a giant curly fro. I miss it. Oh, I miss the little guy. I miss that. I miss those days. But you know what? Like, he had to have grown up.
It happens.
My mom even told me, she's like, dude, do you think you're rare? Like, I used to go everywhere with my dad, and then I hit 13, and I was like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends.
Right.
And he was devastated,
Yeah, I have lots of adults I know with kids in there. They're like, the parents think that they need you when they're toddlers, but you need them when they're like teenagers and they hardly ever show up.
Yeah, exactly. But I keep on telling myself, because my parents like kind of disappeared. So as long as like he's not, I'm gonna let him do his thing. But I'm still gonna be all up in his business.
Right.
No, because the second you start to, I feel like everybody's so worried about everybody else, like, but people don't take care about the things that are right in front of their face. Like, right. I'm gonna try to take control of the things that I can do, and not even take
only
control.
You can parent your own kid.
Exactly. And like, I feel like as a parent, I'm a facilitator. I don't own him. He's not property, but it's my job to just send him in a certain direction.
Right. Or give him the best tools for success.
That's like with his newfound religious thing. I was like, go ahead.
Right. Well, that's kind of like that's weird that I hate that this is such a contentious issue, because I'm not anti-adults making choices of what they do to their own bodies, but like that guidance counselors or like the school psychologist is like, oh, you don't need to tell your parents that you want to be identified differently, or like, here's how you do these things. Like, when did the schools think that they have that much control over your kids?
When that's a very good question, because there was a weird fine line when I was a kid, because people would confide in the teachers, but it was because they were being abused, like physically tortured, because there was something really going on. And that's where the line was. It wasn't like you were just, they didn't get involved unless they legal. Like there's a legal line. Like, hey, there's a list when you become a teacher. You're like, if you see this or this or this, effing report it. If the kid looks like this, report it. You know,
Right.
So it was different.
Yeah,
No.
because it's not like if your kid's like, I'm going to be Superman, and they're like, you're not going to just let them jump out windows.
You know, it's so funny. You'd say that Isaiah called himself Peter. Like when Isaiah did not speak until he was 4 years old. I know it's shocking. But one of his first words were Peter Parker because he'd obsessively watch Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that he still does dress as like, and he would you know, it's funny. His little brother does the same thing. He obsessively loves Spider-Man. He dresses like Spider-Man. He wears the suit, you know.
Right? Like when did we like make imaginary pretend play something that needs to be reinforced? Or I don't know. I don't have the right verbiage right now. It's just
I think
something feels really weird.
We've become so myopic and literal, we can't have fun anymore. Like when I first came into certain communities online, it was shocking to me because I'm a jokey ass person. I would tell these dry, witty jokes, and people are like, rhinoceroses can't fly. And I'm like, you didn't get the joke. You didn't get the joke. You ruined my joke, you dense thicko. Like, you ruined my joke. We can't have fun anymore. We can't, like, everybody is so busy trying to police each other that like we can't party anymore. And we used to party. My grandparents had Scotch parties. My parents had whiskey parties.
Right to party. Oh, did Liz post that earlier? That's why that song's in my head.
What's that? The Kid Rock?
The Beastie Boys.
Oh, I have drinking whiskey out the bottle, not thinking about tomorrow. I went through a Bud Light and a Sea-Doo phase, and ironically, Kid Rock reminds me of. Oh my gosh, if you ever feel like wasting money and buying something that is just a waste, buy a boat. Buy a Sea-Doo, buy something that sits on water. It is.
I've heard the same thing about airplanes.
Unless you're doing it every day, you're a mess. Unless you're like, I don't know. I owned a Sea-Doo, and it was basically a motorcycle on water. They're beautiful, they're fun, until they break down, or you got to pay the lake fee every, like, you know. It's just it gets to you after a while.
Right. I know. Oh, and those single-engine planes are like so scary because I just saw this week that the director of Raytheon, his wife, kids, and another couple died off the coast of Florida when their plane crashed. What? Yep.
That's so crazy. The dispensary I go to is at the end of the runway for the Van Nuys Airport. So
you get off your flight and you're like, okay, it's been 8 hours. I need to get hooked up.
You can literally, well, it's like at the very end, it's the ghetto scary end of the parking lot. But yeah, you could walk around and go to a dispensary as you get off your plane. But the other day when I was driving towards there, I saw a gust of wind hit a Cessna, and the whole thing went wah wah. And I was like, did I almost witness a crash? Did I almost win? Yeah, and I hope that guy was wearing a diaper.
Or he had a change of pants in the back.
Oh, it scared me. And those guys are so flawless that you never see mistakes with those guys. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's why I was like, oh crud. Did this guy almost crash right in front of me? And you know, all the stoners at the dispensary are so easily entertained. They stand in front of the building, and if you didn't know what they were doing, you would think they're crazy because they just stand there and they're looking up, and then all of a sudden you'll hear a fly over.
They're like the modern day train spotters, but they're plane spotters.
That movie is so depressing. But not
as gross as Requiem for a Dream.
Do you know what's really funny? Requiem for a Dream gives me nightmares. Requiem for a Dream is a horror film.
It should, yeah. That necrotic part at the end. Oh, gross. Ugh.
And do you know what's really funny? Like when when what's his name's mom starts taking those pills and was like half delusional, but she really did win, but she really is crazy. Like I know people like that. Yeah, Requiem for a Dream would like. There are certain movies where people are like, "Oh, this is a good." Nah, man, that's a horror film. I was like this the whole movie, like screaming, like, "Ah, ah! What are you doing to Jennifer Connelly? Stop that! Stop it!" That ruined me. That last scene ruined me because I had such a different view of Jennifer Connelly. Like whatever her name, was so in love with her because of Labyrinth, because of like, you know. And then she's doing the Tijuana show at 3:00 in the afternoon, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh man.
That movie wrecked me. That's another horror film.
It'll be hopefully people will start having independent thoughts and we can have good movies again instead of crappy remakes. Do
you think though that oh man, see Twitter's awful. Does he shoot him? I can't watch this. See, I gotta keep scrolling. That's why he left the country, is because he's getting sued for 619, the rapper, got his hat handed to him and he left the country and everybody thought it was staged. And now it's coming out that he owes over $120,000. Hold on. Let me get the number. This is probably more. Because these yeah, it's for $120,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. And who does he owe this money to?
American Express.
Oh. Doesn't he have an accountant who like pays his bills?
Do you know, I always wonder, okay, so when somebody has like a wad of $45,000 in their hand, like because he's one of those guys who walks around with giant wads of cash, why do you have any debt whatsoever?
Then you're just dumb.
Because these guys are like, he is definitely one of those stereotypical dudes that's constantly flashing large amounts of cash all the time. And it just trips me out. Like, wait a minute, you should not have any text messages between R. Kelly's ex-girlfriend at 16 and her mother. Allegedly. See, Black Twitter don't play
so much.
That's one thing I like about Black Twitter is that they are better than the FBI. They will go to your job.
They will find you.
They will go through your trash. They will come looking for you.
Like the Polish grannies who have nothing better to do than creep on you.
There's a show I watch. It's called After Henry, and there's a segment of when the main character named Prunella Scales, she's dating a married man, and her mother just smells it. So she gets her network of old ladies and she starts calling around the town and they slowly find out who the guy is. I love that show. And this show's from 1983, 1984. I love that show. But it's a funny episode because it shows the geriatric army of people, and they're like, and like the big line in the movie, she's like, "We're gonna catch that son of a bitch," and it's just so funny when she says it because they're just bored old ladies with nothing else better to do.
Right.
And she's like bribing the bellhop. She's like, "Did you check his bag?" And he's like, "Well," and she hands him a cream puff. And he's like, his name was blah, 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 blah. And she's like, "What else did you see?" He's like, "I don't know." And she hands him the entire plate. And he's like, "His name is blah, 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 blah." I love those old school shows. They had a wit about themselves.
Yeah, when funny used to be funny.
And people weren't so worried about political correctness. I've ran into that today because I'm in that weird cusp of like, man up, don't hurt my feelings. Where is that line? Because I don't put up with racism, but if you were to, I don't know, like I don't know where that line is. Where is that line between like, I'm just, I don't know. I don't know where that line is anymore. The internet has destroyed that line for me. My new rule is don't be overtly mean to people. But what does that mean?
I know, because that like there's satire and there's humor that they're like the old-fashioned comedy roasts. Like they were being mean to people.
I can't remember her name, but there was a woman on Sanford and Son, and she wasn't the most attractive woman, and she was in a Don Rickles roast or Dean Martin, and she was in a few, but they walked up and they were like, Thelma, you're ugly. They were just dogging her to her face as a grown woman, and I'm like, nowadays, they'd all be getting sued by the ACLU by today's standards, Yay, Liz is back. But like, where is that line? Because I watch a lot of old television. Is it okay to make fun of someone's accent?
Yeah, good question.
Is it? I recently watched someone where they were making fun of someone with a Japanese accent, and I was like, "Ooh, this is racist." But it was from the 70s, and
Right.
I hate it when people say this, but it's true. You have to take the time into context. I hate it when people say that because I wasn't there.
Right. It's true. Well, it's the same way with all the books being reworded. It was great that Judy Blume stood out. She's like, I don't like what they're doing to Roald Dahl's books.
I don't understand it, though. I don't understand the need for control, the need to, like, again, if you don't like something, move on,
Right, because it's not like they're rewriting Shakespeare or the Odyssey or these other epic works. Like, if we can't learn about our past unless we see it for its authentic self, and if we... Is it woke washing? Can I make that up? If we woke wash everything, then...
Patent pending?
Yeah.
If you invented it. Patent pending, YouTube. You just invented something.
Yes, I'm over all of this woke washing.
But do you think, though, that like people are too much on the lookout for it? Because I'll tell you, no one talks about trans people more than the right. Because and I'll tell you from the LGBTQIA plus experience, like it's old school rules. Like back in the day, lesbians and gays didn't get along. They just stood together. That's why they have separate bars.
Exactly, right. There was the butch bar and then there was the gay bar, and never the two should intermingle.
Even in my day, it was known never to walk into a lesbian bar. Like, bro, you don't belong there. You do not belong there.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny
that was okay.
All of like the individual last week, and then there was that human Lily whose sister turned them in, who had plans, a list, bomb making equipment, and they had like schools and stuff. So and then the whole like all of the protests in Tennessee at their Capitol building for the illegal protest, none of them are being held against their will. Nobody even got arrested.
So I haven't paid attention to any of that at all. All I saw was a dude with a fro. So what went on?
Oh, was that the one that the cops separated from the group because they were starting to become violent? So yeah, there was all of the trans activists like bombarding the state capitol in Nashville, and then nobody got jailed, nobody got in trouble. And then, well, did you hear what happened at San Francisco State University this week?
No, I've been avoiding American news because our country is going straight to Hades.
Yeah, no, it really is. So I'm going to forget her name. Did I write it down on my list? Oh, Riley Gaines, who was a...
I know who Riley Gaines is.
Okay, yep. So she's a swimmer, and she was speaking out against XY individuals who transitioned competing in XX individual sports. And that's a whole huge debate. But a whole bunch of activists beat her up, were like pummeling her, dragged her into a room, were demanding ransom money, like basically kidnapped her, and none of them got arrested. And whether it was a university officer or something, like they just stood by and let the whole thing happen. Like,
kidnapping is huge where I live. Like, you would get charged if dude, OJ Simpson did 5 years in jail because he told someone to not move in a Vegas hotel, and it was considered kidnapping.
Yeah, I like, trans rights are important, but they're not endearing themselves to people either with activities like this.
I keep on saying this. I'm not an age. It's the extremists trying to speak for everybody, and it's ruining it for everybody. That's why it's like that's why I keep on saying it's not about Dilip Mulvaney or whatever their name is. Yep. It's about the fact that people are going to use this BS as an excuse to go against everybody now that's gay or lesbian, when they're minding their own effing business. I think that's part of the problem.
Whole question too, whether is Dylan Mulvaney actually trans, or are they in what I've heard is are they in woman face?
We need to bring back gatekeeping. We need to bring back the brutal reading. Like, if you don't look like me, then we need to bring back gatekeeping, I think, because when you open the floodgates, you know what? I recently had this conversation on Abe's channel because I have a problem with somebody who is transgender. I don't blame the entire community. I don't think that every single person is bad, but this particular person, anytime they come near me, they invoke the entire community. They go through all of these things to pretend to be oppressed. In my eyes, they're pretending to be oppressed in order to pick a fight with me, when in any other way you could just move on with your life,
right?
You know,
it's not like the Monty Python skit, help, I'm being repressed.
Yeah. So in today's, like, the internet is so strange to me. When someone, like, if you like, there are so many people I don't like, I just stay away from them. I have a list.
Right. I can block you. I don't need to engage. You're a waste of my time. Like, I don't need that.
Stop recommending this channel. You know, like, thanks, YouTube. Don't recommend this channel anymore. Thanks. You know, like.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a shame that people think that I can't see without my glasses.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I feel like it's a shame that people think they can rewrite literary works of art. You have a right to disagree with pieces of literature, but you don't have the right to rewrite them. My 2 cents. Yeah, yes. I agree, Liz. You're not missing anything in the news, Liz. It's all horrible. Yeah, that is horrendous. Kidnapping is kidnapping, period. Yeah, it's so bonkers. Right, yep. Avoidance is the new... the new tact.
And even as a confrontational person, like, I'll say what I have to say and then I disappear. I take a vacation.
Right. It's not thermodynamically favorable. I don't have enough energy to deal with bullshit chicanery.
I agree with you. I need to get that tattooed on my wrist so I can look at it every once in a while. I'm serious. Because even this morning, I feel like that was a waste, but I had a lot of pent up anger towards this person because they've been stalking me for 2 years,
Oh, God.
2.5 years.
Wow,
I
they don't have
stopped,
anything better to do with their time in life. Is sad.
and they don't even realize that, like, I don't talk to the English crowd anymore because we had a falling out because they're such hardcore virtue signalers. Like, it's sad. Like, people that I spent over 2 or 3 years, 4 years basically hanging out with, we don't talk anymore because of an issue that I told them. Like, they would ask me a direct question and I'd tell them to their face, like, this person's an individual. Doesn't matter
Mhm.
what label they hide behind. And I think
Right.
because I've had extreme accountability in my life. And so it's hard for me to relate to this new age. I can do whatever I want and have no accountability. It's hard for me to relate to that.
Yeah, I don't think we should. I don't think we should normalize lack of accountability.
No way. At least wait until I croak, because I'm gonna go crazy because these kids can't count. They can't. Like, I went Karen at a guy over my inhaler. The guy at the pharmacy like had an attitude with me. I put my card in. He's like, "Why are you so jumpy?" I said, "Bro, just ring up my inhaler. Just ring up my inhaler. Just ring it up,
I just
dude."
gotta go. I know. Well, and it's. I think that's one of the things with schools too. Like, I don't know. We're spending so much time on these social things, but kids aren't learning how to read and write and do science.
Yeah.
Like, school's not supposed to be where we like learn about everybody's pronouns. I know I'm a horrible person.
When I went out in the real world, I noticed that the education that I had received was like a college education compared, like stuff that I learned in 10th and 11th grade. They were teaching a freshman year in college at LA junior colleges.
Oh God.
In
Right.
education is so important. It's like, and this is my whole point. For as crazy as I am, for all the drugs I've ever done, for everything that I've done to destroy my brain, if you gave me money and asked for change back, I would give it to you without even flinching because I can still count.
Right. Yeah.
Because of the education I received, you know?
Yep.
And even take all the social issues out, like people, and I'm sensitive, people seem more sensitive. And I shut my mouth because I know I'm sensitive. I don't react to a lot of things because I know I'm just being sensitive. Like, okay, I'm just being emotional. Not everybody's on stage like me. I get it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming older and more aware. Do you think?
Yeah, I'm just olded and getting black pilled.
Can I want to buy a t-shirt press so bad because my first shirt will be I make poor decisions, and then my second will be I'm sick of everyone's shit.
Right. And can I have one that says I hate everybody equally?
That is literally a Slayer line. That's in God Hates Us All.
Like, I'm not prejudiced. I hate all of it.
Okay, Phoenix, I'm gonna sing it. It's no separation, no segregation, just me and my world of enemies. Slayer does not play around. He's like, I hate you all. I don't know. equally.
Yep.
Oh, I love that song.
There's
I
no
love that
privilege here.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing because I'm resentful because I've had to work hard for everything. So when I see someone get something handed to them, I'm like, tar and feather that human being. Tar and feather that person.
Yeah, well, and I think that started when we were little, like the beginning of the participation age trophies. Like, you show up, you get an award, rather than like,
Yeah.
what are your merits?
Exactly.
And we didn't have to. There wasn't the notion of like to grow up to be a YouTube star or a TikToker. Like, that wasn't even an option because those things didn't exist. You had to like actually do something.
Yeah, you actually had to produce and not pretend to be something. And I think that's the one thing that bothers me too. Like, excuse me. A a long time ago in a Mary Beard documentary, she used to always say that like the bathhouse was an equalizer because everyone took their clothes off. And so the poor guy could show how tough he was and that the senator had a giant hernia and he was an old guy who ate too much. And the internet's kind of like that, where it's this equalizer where everybody can hide behind their screen and pretend to be something they're not, you know?
Right.
And some people are good at it and other people eventually their mask cracks.
Yeah. Which is why I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not.
No, I don't have to I can't remember a lie like that. I can't remember a lie. Like I don't have the energy to sit around and rehearse and remember a lie like that. Like, no way.
No, that is too much time, too much energy.
I think part of the problem is that I used to stream with a bunch of people and it turned into just having awesome topics and we ended up judging people and thinking that we were better than. And once you start thinking you're better than, you are literally worse than.
Yeah.
For as much as I may look like I participate in the drama, I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, I need more funny in my life, so I don't need drama, and I think that's why I need to redo my act a little bit, my character, because if I try to be too technical, then I like get lost in my head. When my teacher was like, maybe you should just lean into the being funny and the parody of what you think you want to be, rather than the actual pretty version.
That's why I started putting my skates on and showing my hobo side. I like to dress like a 1920s wino. That's okay.
Right.
Like, you know, like, because if you go back and look at my early videos, every time I'd make something, I would try to do a tutorial. No one cared. So like my bell bottoms, I got a really good response. That was such a fun video, you know. But I started noticing people just cared what I made. And then I'd watch other channels and like they wouldn't even show themselves sewing. They're like, I just made this. Then it makes me question, like, did you really make that? Like, I want to show people, like, nah, bruh, I made this on a sewing machine that's older than you and me put together, you know?
Right. Well, I think seeing a couple of folks watching or refurbishing old sewing machines, and this one woman, what's her new channel? Promethean Sewing Machines. She's like painting them, doing decals, making them pretty, all sorts of fun stuff. And I was like, I think I would be the person who would watch a 3-hour video of somebody taking apart and talking me through the taking apart and rebuilding a sewing machine. Like I would binge that.
I fall asleep to I don't know where they are. They're either in Korea or Japan because I don't speak the language. But okay. It's a 10-hour tutorial of making a coat like literally from cutting the fabric to finish.
Yeah.
And I'll send you the link because I can't even pronounce the name of the channel. But it's an amazing channel and they have these endless tutorials. And I'm a geek. I obsessively watch videos of people in India sewing.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I've been watching a lot of those, like with their giant bundles and they cutting up the denim and how they all sit on the floor. Like, do they have push button machines or do they use the presser foot with their knee?
Same. I'm wondering the same thing. I'm sitting here like, this is kind of magic. And you know, I'm a Care Bear. I'm Smokey Bear, the Care Bear, like with my bleeding heart sitting there like, are these people okay? Did they drink water? Did they have breakfast this morning?
Your houses look nicer than mine is, so I'm pretty sure. Like, these don't seem like the impoverished Indians.
The ones that make me laugh are the dispassionate ones that'll make a pair of jeans better than I would ever make in my life. They're just rant with the machine. They're looking around, you know, like. Right. I'm like, sir or ma'am, like you're kind of a magician. Like, how the hell did you do that?
Right. I don't know.
I just recently started using my baby lock for everything, and it's a little bit faster than my Husqvarna, and I had to get used to it. I had to, so when I push on that pedal, it flies.
You don't have the speed
fabric
adjuster on it?
I do, but I like a Ferrari sewing machine. Like I like that room, I'm an action movie kind of guy.
Right. Yeah, no, I try not to drive my machines faster than I can, that I'm comfortable.
It's different. Like when I'm making a coat, I have those giant long seams,
Right.
So I can stand back and just like let it fly through. When I'm doing something more precision, I slow it down.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to tap the foot stop, tap the foot stop, tap the foot stop. That like I'm a pinner though, so I do it on purpose to keep everything in place.
Yeah. I know I see all these people, mostly like the people who sew bags with their plastic clips, and I'm like, but I don't want to. I own pins, so why do I want to buy clips?
I'm going to tell you, I'm obsessed with my plastic clips, but I only have like 10 left because they break. I need metal in my life.
Oh, yes. Make metal great again.
I smash everything. Hold on. Where's my holy grail of clips? Why are you never around when I need you? Oh, what did I? That's so funny. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face.
It's like my pin cushion. It's always right in front of me, like under something.
These are only clips. And this, kids, I made this to push down the fabric as I'm sewing, but I made it just with a big wad of tape and a nail.
I just used my either forceps or the screwdriver, the flathead that came with the sewing machine, to do that same job.
That's not a bad idea. That's not. I found one of these in a sewing machine, but I was like, I'm gonna get tetanus from it, so I recreated one because it was so old. It came with a vintage sewing machine. I'm like, well, it has blue tape on it, so I know it's from like the 80s up,
Because they didn't make blue painter's tape before that.
I know somebody who used to shave with an old rusty razor and got tetanus on their head.
Oh God.
So I'm really weird about, and I have all my shots. It's not like I'm that much of a feral human, but like that stuff's real. That I don't, and I work with metal. Like, oh, speaking of which, my poor husky, it pierced my finger.
Oh no, she bit back.
She bit back. I was cleaning it out completely, taking out certain pieces because it's done for a while. I might send it away to Sweden or wherever it's from. That's how mad I am at it.
No.
But, okay, so sewing machines, they have that weird hook inside of it to catch the thread, but it's an actual metal hook that the plastic bobbin piece sits inside of. I had the plastic piece out. My dumb arse, I don't know what I was thinking. I moved my foot, not realizing the machine was plugged in. That metal hook came around and got stuck in my finger.
Oh no.
And then after the initial, I had to pull my finger out. So then I had to hit the reverse button and click it again so it came out. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. So for the rest of my life, I will have a piercing in the middle of my finger. I pierced my finger. Like it's, oh man, I barely missed the bone. I barely missed the bone. It's my hardcore sewing story for the day.
Right. Yeah. Fortunately, I've knock on real wood, I've not done anything like that with a machine yet.
That's why I pinned this, because I was like, I need to do something that's not going to take my fingers off.
Right. Let's move to the non-dangerous part of sewing.
But it's also because I refuse to give up on my Husqvarna Viking, and it's dying. I've kind of pushed it beyond its own limits. That thing is a beast, though. Honestly, I probably would buy another one. If I ever see another emerald, I might buy one. But they don't resell because they last, Mm-hmm. That's like when I found my baby lock in the store, I was lucky to find that.
Yeah, because they're expensive. But I don't know if I love mine. I want to, but
it makes a da, 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 da sound compared to it's I'm telling you, like I got so used to one machine, I feel like I'm cheating on it using the other.
you are.
It was time. It was time though. It was time to to move on.
Hey,
what do we I don't want to become a theme show, but what topics should we discuss?
Yeah, let's see. What else do I have on my list?
No, because
we talked about. Yeah,
but I'm saying like just like because we stream on Sundays and Mondays, but
right.
I'm just like saying because quite honestly, like I'm semi-canceled because I feel the same way you did. And I may or may not have said a few things today live on YouTube that will give me even more. I basically said, regardless of your label, if you're a bad person, you're a bad person.
And that's true.
And it will get me canceled. It will get me canceled. I guarantee you right now that person's trashing me on Twitter because there's such baby high school drama.
Oh, God, that's so lame. Like...
And I'm literally sitting at my house making the house of like literally sewing a Klingon flag on a battle vest.
Right, like we're just trying to make stuff and chit chat about stuff like the old-fashioned sewing circle stitching bitches, which is what I dreamed of having.
That's right. I love the sewing circle, and that's the one thing. Like when someone's constantly struggling with their own identity, they will pick apart somebody else's. And I think that's part of the problem in today's world in general is that people don't mind their business to a point where we can get along. Like there has to be common courtesy because you know what? Like I live in LA more than on average. I see a non-binary or a trans person more than I guarantee all those people who are standing on the internet pretending to be allies. And you know what I say? I say hello, or hey, that's a nice coat. I saw this.
Yeah, if you're not an asshole to me, I won't be an asshole to you.
I was at the grocery store, and I made this person's day because I walked up with all my patches, my boots were clicking. They turned around, their eyes rolled, and I was like, "Hey," and they're like, "What?" I was like, "I love your coat," and they were like, "Oh, thank you for not being an a-hole." But they had this giant leather leopard print coat on. I was like, "That's amazing." Your coat's your coat's at 1,000 on a scale of 1 to 100, you know?
Right.
There has to be middle ground somewhere because we all and like because I'm not the most spiritual person, like, but I live on this planet. We all coexist together. We have to, regardless if we think we do or not, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of look at it like the Egyptians and the Native Americans, like I'm not better than the river. I'm the same as the river, you know?
Yep, the river's going to drown you either way.
Yeah, you know? So today, do you think it's materialism? No, says the guy who literally overcompensates for being the middleist.
I don't know. I mean, there is definitely flex culture, but I think that's because everybody thinks they can be an internet star because nobody has any skills.
But I'm boring, and I know I'm super boring. Like, I watch dry British shows. I watch Inspector Morris. If you're not really into dry, witty shows, you would fall asleep sitting at my house. You would pass out on the couch watching hockey.
On the other screen.
That. Yeah, exactly. It trips me. I don't know. You're very right about that. And I have kind of fallen into certain communities where I'm just watching. I'm just the weird guy on, you know, sitting in the window like, oh my gosh, you people exist. But it's weird to me. And they're all following the same formula. Mm-hmm. Right wing, left wing. It's very much like, oh, I'm doing this in order to be famous. Like you're playing a role. You know what I'm saying?
Right, they're all characters because they don't know who they are. So they're like, what's going to get me attention rather than like, how am I going to be a good human and then maybe get noticed? You got it backwards.
maybe it's me and I'm just weird. Maybe it's me. I don't judge people like that. And I'm not even saying that from the like, oh, I think I'm better. I don't put the effort forward to even give someone a negative view. Like, you're you. I'm
Mhm.
weirdly indifferent. I'm weirdly indifferent when it comes to people. As long as you're not overtly an a-hole, I don't care. I'll rock with anybody, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, so as human beings, we self-segregate. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because there's certain people I don't want to hang out with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I think it's both. Because if
people
we
talk.
are so
Oh,
insular that we don't interact with others, then we don't learn. But then being with the same is comforting. So I'm good both.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Because like where I live is extremely diverse, but we have little Russia, little Ethiopia, little, like
Well, that's how
every
you're gonna eat.
nationality.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
have your food of your nation.
I won't even lie. Little Italy is popular because of their food.
Well, and you can't get piroshkis in Little India.
And now I'm craving Indian food. It's just one of those really weird, strange things to me because I also had this really weird experience with this young kid where I came in the room and he instantly said I wasn't human and I'm below him and all these things, and he was like in his 30s, and I was like, in my brain, I was like, to me that's projected fear. Because
Yeah.
I come in the room and he's instantly scared of me, and I was wearing my hockey jersey. I'm rough in the morning. I am rough. I don't even, no vest, no glasses, just my hockey jersey. Like, I am here to fight you.
Just give me my coffee and leave me alone.
But like, I laughed it off. But it's weird to me because because those people always try to get a position of power. Like those sociopathic people who hate people become a gynecologist, or they become like, a proctologist, or, they become these weird positions of power.
That's also scary.
I saw this thing about, I grew up around very, very sure people. And I think we throw around the term narcissist too much, but I
Yeah.
watch a lot of stuff about narcissism. And like, sadly, narcissistic people get ahead in life because they're ruthless. And they're willing to
Yeah,
do things and make money and compromise values that the average person wouldn't.
yeah, I mean, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I can't imagine a Fortune 500 company startup or owner who's not a little bit, because if you're not pulling your weight, you got to go. If you're disruptive and affecting productivity, you got to go, versus everybody else who's like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings, but your feelings isn't going to make you keep your business going.
Do you know what's so funny? My dad was like that, and my mom's nickname is the Queen of Hearts. She'll fire you. She'll fire a mofo. She don't care what you tell her. She don't care. She'll close the door on Tiny Tim's face. My dad was like that. I'm very much like my mom too. Like I love you, but if you're not pulling your weight, you got to go.
Yeah, because yeah.
I agree with you, Liz. No, Liz, this morning I confronted that particular person that was stalking me. And they came on Abe's stream and we got into it, but really it was me going 4 octaves and not letting that person speak. Because they doxed, like quite honestly, what is there to talk about? You doxed me, you've gone around trashing me. I don't stream with my friends anymore. Like, I've completely disemboweled myself from the community. And every time I come around, you want to fight me. Like, I'm going to say something to you, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what's so funny? Like, all of this drama reminds me, I used to sit in my house and watch old anime from the 1980s. I literally went in. That's like that picture I showed in the group. I went in my VHS cave and I pulled all my 1980s anime out. I was like, oh no, I am tuning the world out again. Like, I'm gonna go right back to my 2020 rules of like minding my own business.
Yeah.
I just find it. I'm a quote miner. I love quotes. My Twitter is nothing but quotes. But there's a quote that says, there's no bigger expression for loneliness than the existence of online communities. And in that like small world are just nothing but people who end up hating each other and fighting each other. And I came on the internet saying like, I'm not here to fight anybody. I literally like make clothes in my garage. I'm not that complicated. And I try to maintain. I should start a health channel. No, because for as much as I eat like crap, I take care of myself. So I maintain a certain body weight, and I don't do intense workouts. I don't crash diet. I eat donuts, you know, like, but I balance my diet out. I eat lots of vegetables, you know, lots of fruit, you know, and then chocolate.
Right. Well, everything in moderation, including moderation.
Exactly, Liz. It is all about the false personas, and I think that's the thing that's really ticked me off is that like with me, what you see is what you get. I'm a little bit more cursy in person, but that's just because I stub my toe a lot. Well, I'm 5'9" with size 13 and a half hoof.
Right. So you've got flippers you're trying to navigate.
I should be on the swim team. I wonder if they have an adult. My grandmother lived in this really bougie neighborhood, and they had a swim team.
Oh my goodness!
And like you like where I'm from, like that's Richie. Like the people that wear the sweaters on their shoulders.
Oh, on their shoulders, tied in a little knot with their seersucker.
But like I was always scared to join the swim team. On that swim team, I know at least 4 or 5 Olympians that are our age. That's how hardcore this one particular place was. I wonder if I joined a hockey league and it was nothing but old men who smoked cigarettes, and I was right in place because I could barely breathe.
Right. Get the puck.
Oh, it was so much fun because it was like slow motion. I was the fastest guy, and I would like stop, and they'd be like, "Stop!" I'd be like, "Oh, I'm blacking out," and they're like, "Hey, man, welcome to being over 40. Welcome." But because of COVID protocols, the roller rink kind of almost shut down, but then like it's a big huff. COVID killed the roller rink basically.
Well, COVID kind of tried to kill everything.
And not even our hockey fees could keep that place alive.
Yeah.
So basically what happened is that the rink like they had to get rid of all the fun stuff and go back to their playing crummy music and people line dancing.
Oh. Well, I guess to each their own.
I had fun. I miss that hockey league. I do. Because like you'd walk outside, like we would literally be skating, and then you'd walk outside. People are smoking cigarettes, drinking beers in the parking lot. Like there's a goalie depressed, drinking a beer on the sidelines. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
Beer leagues are real. Like hockey beer leagues are so much fun. And I didn't even drink back then, but it's just I had the time of my life. People wondered why I got so good. They didn't know I had my own secret gym that I could practice in.
Right. Know the secrets.
Well, anyone who goes on my YouTube channel will now know my secrets.
Right, because it's not really a secret.
No, it's not. And the funny thing is, like even the stage, all of it, like it needs to be used, man. It needs to be used. And we really don't rent out anymore because of freaking the lacrosse team that can't hang.
I know. I would love to have my own stage all the time to hula hoop on and pretend I have an audience. Like,
oh, Isaiah and I go there and hold audience all the time. We just go out there and like scream echo a bunch on the mic.
Oh, that's funny.
When he was little, it was a good place for him to go blow off steam, and the gym too.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me think of Mom. Every time I hear a bell ring, an angel gets his way. I love It's a Wonderful Life. It made me cry every time. I know it's about to happen, and it makes me cry every single time. Every single time. Even so I come out here every week and I talk about how Picard is ruined. I hate Star Trek and blah 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 blah. This last episode saved it for me, brought it all back. I cried like 4 times. I cried so hard watching Picard, I had puffy face. I was like, it was bad. It was bad. They did right. They finally did right. Like, I'm tired of these shows being so dark and everything's bad all the time. It's like real life is bad. Show me something that's happy, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to start rewatching South Park and The Simpsons.
I quit watching after a certain years. So, like, if I start watching The Simpsons, it's like it'll be like catching up.
I know, because I also stopped for a period of time, so I like watched a whole bunch, and now I'm like, I don't know what's happened.
I want to see if these people are talking about me.
I'm trying to play with this presser foot. This tucking foot is, I don't know. We're not friends yet. We don't talk anymore. We're not on the same language yet.
I know that feeling. Poor guys. Poor guys. I feel sorry for them. All that hatred and boredom.
Yeah.
Ooh, I gotta save this one.
Start sewing. It'll save your life.
I always jokingly, that is like my new cliche. I forgot I said that in my bloopers, and that's become my new like go-to. Like, get a sewing machine. It'll change your life. Because then you won't have time to be an idiot.
No, you'll be yelling at your sewing machine. You won't have time to yell at real humans.
Even like I'm this close because Isaiah's reluctant. I'm like, bro, I'll take a karate class with you. I'll take a UFC class. I'm out of shape. You'll watch your old man puke while everyone's running, but I'll take a class.
Oh yeah, go for it. Or Krav Maga, that's a good one. Because that's like practical.
I took a Krav class when I was in my 20s. I took one when I was in my 20s. That I still use those moves. Those are face-to-face moves. Matter of fact, that is how I was able to disarm that guy who pulled a 1911 on me.
Oh my goodness.
Was from the training I received when I was in my 20s.
Yep.
Yeah, that Israeli hand fighting stuff is real, man. They do not mess around.
No, they do not. Yeah, and that's where I dislocated my fibula, which is a weird bone to dislocate.
I didn't get in a lot of trouble, but the cops were like, dude, you took a guy's, like, it's a long story. It's a shaky security guard didn't like the fact that he was like, can I see your permits? I was like, let me see your permits. And he pulled a gun on me.
Oops.
And started shaking.
Oh, God.
So I was like, give me that. You don't even know what you're doing. But I pulled the hammer back and took it apart. and then left it in pieces on the ground. And apparently he was never able to put it back together.
Oh, yeah. What is it about people in places of authority who have pieces but don't actually understand how to use or care for them?
Oh, especially I'm not saying in 1911 is a standard issue, but the gun was made in 1911, and anyone who's ever you're right. Do some research before you go flashing a piece, because then you're gonna meet someone like me who actually knows what they're talking about.
Right.
I just find it, I don't know. But then it goes back to that weird societal fear that people have, because you have a stereotype in your head and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And then inevitably, when you actually see that, you end up acting on it less than the person that you're claiming to be scared of.
Yeah.
Because now you're the aggressor, and it's not the person that you're claiming that you're scared of. It's you who is the actual aggressor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm going to go to the little sewing room real quick.
All right. I am just standing here trying to figure out this tucking foot that, I don't know, my tension's off. Maybe I need to change my needle. Stitches are too tight. What is happening here? We're having misadventures in the house and the circus today, but it happens. And let's see here. Yeah, so I got that blue corset. It's too big. My brown one is also too big. At least they're comfortable. And I will punch another eyelet later and then hand stitch around it so that I can wear that new corset. What is happening? Okay. I give up right now. Me and Brynhild are not on the same wavelength right now. I don't even know what's going on. Where's my other presser foot? I don't want to fight with my machine right now. I don't feel like fighting. And now I can't take it off. Awesome. Okay. Up, down. Why are you what is happening? Oh, because then, Remember, kids, you can't take a presser foot with a hole in it off if the needle's all the way down. Wow, we are like doing all the dumb stuff right now.
Oh, man.
So we'll fight with my ruffler foot instead. I'm just fighting with my tools today. It's a bad day at the circus.
I had that 2 weeks ago. I went back and watched that stream and watched me descend into madness as my sewing machines were not working. Like, I saw the panic on my face. It all goes back to my super gay manager. And I will tell this story until the day I die, when I worked at the gay Starbucks.
Oh, right.
And me and what's-his-face ran out of coffee. And the manager took us in the back. And he's like, "This is Starbucks," with pink fingernails, with pink lipstick on. He's just losing it on us.
Right. Yeah, you
What
can't
is wrong with you?
Coffee. Like, that's...
Oh, he was right, though. He was right. Yeah. He lost it on us. Oh, I'll never forget that. Because the back was little, so he was a big dude. He was like 6'1", 6'2", bigger than us. So he had us pinned in there.
I didn't mean it.
We were dumb kids. I was like 19, we were shaky kids.
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, like I meant for better or for worse, I met Sarah Silverman, and she is a good person. She's a down-to-earth, like, she didn't have to be. Let's just put it that way. I don't necessarily agree with all her politics, because she's a uber, like, she's so far left, like, she needs a spacesuit. But, like, she was so good to me. She was and Renee Zellweger, who is my height and probably weighs 75 pounds less than I do.
Well,
But
that's
she was
Hollywood.
she was another one who was so kind to me. I think they saw the sad, desperate look in my face. It's because like people in LA are picky. Who drinks coffee that's 145 degrees? Some yuppie. And then the manager told me, like, you know why they ask you? And I was like, why? They're like, because you're dumb enough to do it. That's illegal. Like, we legally we're not allowed to serve like lattes. Like, when people are like, oh, I want my latte to be exactly blah blah blah, when it comes out, you're literally burning the espresso.
Right. Yeah. Why ruin a good coffee?
Especially espresso, because it only has a short life. It's a very
Right?
sensitive bean.
Espresso, the zennials of coffee.
I almost spit my coffee out on that one, but it's true. It's true. Yes, it is true. Liz, start showing. It'll change your life. I'm working on a new blooper right now, but every time I get started, like, I have to sift through so much just footage. And like, it's like watching myself go through all of these phases just in the past 2 years is cringy.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make fun of. I might show that video just to make fun of myself tomorrow. I'm gonna write that down. I might show. Can I show my own videos on YouTube?
Yeah, because who's going to copyright claim you but yourself?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I want to show how bad my original videos were, just to give people motivation. Like YouTube.
Right. Nobody starts off good.
Nobody. And I still have tons of errors. I still make choppy rookie mistakes all the time. Every time I turn on my computer, I forget to turn the volume up because it's constantly on mute. Every time. And I can see you talking.
And the chat's like, you're on mute. Or I'm like, you're on mute.
I can't believe I'm wearing my Mirror Monsters shirt already. It can't be this hot already. It's like summer.
It's not. It's not.
Let me look at the map. I guarantee you it's going to be raining in a couple of days. Yep. It's going to be. Oh, no. Well, it's going to dip down to 69.
Okay.
It's going to be 84 tomorrow.
It's going to be like 50 tomorrow.
You're going to see me like 3 shades more brown tomorrow. I can't wait. Can't wait. I'm a photo
be a
cell.
Promise and not a threat.
Well, because of my complexion, you really can't tell until I go like this and I flash a shoulder, and you can literally see the difference of like, this is yellow and that's brown. Like they're two different colors.
This is paper and this is paper.
Like my feet are yellow. My feet are literally like base human color.
Well, Liz, did you hear? I got the corset finished, and we're done. It's just I've got to replace one eyelet one more time, then sew over it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I don't know why. Like, either I'm putting the eyelets in wrong, or they're not up to tensile strength. Like, I don't understand why most of them are holding. But the ones that, of course, are falling out are, like, right at the midsection where I need it to, like, take the most strain.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go get my pleather vest, and I'm going to show you what cheap grommets look like.
Okay. I'm just fighting with all my tools. For some reason, this gathering foot, I'm forgetting how to feed the fabric through to make everything work. All right. I had big plans, and now I'm like, and I just feel like a big loser. But sometimes that happens at the circus. Not. Some days
So
we just bring in the clowns.
These send in the clowns. These monstrosities are cheap. Hold on, let's see if I can get it in there. Are super cheap grommets that I smashed using my tool. Like you can see the mistakes on them. If you oh, there it is. But pleather is awesome. But these came out great. But using cheap grommets will it's I learned the hard way.
Yeah,
I learned the hard way.
Because I mean, I got the grommet press works, the dies work, but maybe it's the Chinese 500 grommet in the different sizes that they're just not good, and I need to get new grommets.
I think we probably bought the same package.
Yeah,
we probably
one that you unscrew.
If it's on, did you get off of Amazon?
Yes.
Yeah, we probably bought the same package.
Yeah, because it was like $50, 3 different size grommets of like 500 pieces each, and I was like, oh, this is great, because setting it in by hand with the hammer and I, like, that also was a nightmare and a half.
Yikes. And that's another thing. Like on a few, I annihilated them with my hammer. And like in this house, even with my rubber hammer, there's no such thing as a soft hammer because I'm swinging for the fences. You know what? Those vests are works of art. I don't care. They are work. I'm looking at them. I made them a while ago, back when I was way more explorative with my sewing. Now I'm pretty much formed in what I do.
So maybe you need a new face to get back
I have
to
an
the
eye
olden
for
days.
fashion. You know what it is? I'm willing to take on a challenge. Like if I don't know something, I'll learn on the fly because I wanna. Because eventually you'll get the skill.
Right.
Like the first time I made a real coat, I felt accomplished. Like I made a real coat, and I was like, "Holy cow! I made a freaking coat." Oh, excuse me.
Yep, not there yet.
I can't wait to wear my House of Sewing. But the front, I'm going to change the patches because it was yet another phase. But when I first came in the community, I really didn't understand what a turf was. So I started calling myself a perf. I'm a people exclusionary radical fornicator.
So that just leaves you with animals then. That's kind of weird.
No, I'm just don't like people. I'll still interact with them, you know, but coincidentally, as you say that, I also have my mammalian patch here.
Oh, that's funny.
And I handmade that. I handmade that back when I cared. Like a lot of my when I found this really weird canvas that my dad was hoarding. So I just started making patches out of it. Because I know they would you know, they're able to take the wear and tear of being on a patch, being washed, having the wind fly past them, you know. Canvas can take the wear. If you put a serger on some canvas, the canvas will last forever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, certain types.
Sorry, and of all the bizarre things, then my needle just fell out. Like I didn't even touch the needle. Oh, come on.
What term is that, Liz? I'm having short-term memory loss now. Oh man, I'm like slowly thinking of all the things I have to do this week.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Mondays. I'm gonna call the teacher and see if we can weasel out of the testing. Because I have a bad feeling it's not required. It's
Mm.
one of those. It's one of those like weird, like, oh, because your kid goes to homeschool, we have to give them like some. I think it's the state equivalency test. They did it last year,
And you're like, we're on an
and
IEP. What do we need to be equivalent to anybody for?
I'm gonna call them tomorrow and see, because they're like offering incentives for people who actually show up, and I'm like, wait a minute, does that mean people aren't gonna show up? Are you anticipating people not showing up?
Yeah, that's sketchy.
I'm gonna call them tomorrow. They're just I don't like Isaiah's counselor just because he's extremely arrogant.
Mm.
I don't understand why people, like, I don't get it. Maybe it's because I come from a world of civil servants and public servants, of people who help people. I just don't understand having an attitude on jump. If someone comes at you crazy, defend yourself. I am no one to tell anyone how to live, you know. But if I say hi, and you know what the funny thing is, in public, I lead with "May I please."
Yeah,
That's literally how I
more
speak
courtesy than most people lead with or end with.
Well, I learned it being around Spanish speaking people, because they say "madas," which is may, you know, like may I, what, you know, like literally is may I. And so I just it's just a courtesy thing, and it's a respect thing. Like, hey, even though you're working at the Dollar Tree, I don't care. I respect you. If you know, like, may I please get some help? You know,
Right.
It throws people off.
It does.
All the waiters, because we go to a Mexican restaurant by my house all the time, and they tell me all the time, they're like, you are so polite.
Like, that shouldn't be something that people say like, that should just come second. That's noteworthy is sad to me.
And it's weird to me, because I open up doors for people and they're shocked. Or like, I say, excuse me, like if I walk past someone, excuse me, I'm so sorry. They're shocked that I say that. Or they'll say something like rude to me almost. Like someone was like, I was like, oh, excuse me. They're like, you're excused. Bro, I'm just trying to walk past you and not be rude. Sorry.
Right.
You're shopping for Preparation H. I know you're having a bad day. I'm kidding. I don't know what they were shopping for.
Right. Well, if they're shopping for that, then they probably were having a bad day and a bad week.
But it just seems, because I'm not overtly polite, because I consider that creepy, but I'm polite.
Mm-hmm.
There's a balance. Like I like people who are overtly polite. I'm like, what? You've either stolen my wallet, or what's going on?
You're creeping on me. No, I am not getting into your bus that says free candy, free sewing machines. We might have a different story, but
I think about that all the time. When I'm driving down the road. I'm like, you know, the only way you'd really kidnap me is if there was a sign that said free sewing machines. Pull in here.
Free 99Ks. You're like, yes.
Oh, free Juki. I'm taking that chance. I want that machine so bad. But I'm not willing to pay $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, because the one I want is like $7,000 or $8,000. I want the full table, the real giant one.
Yes. Well, that's like the Baby Lock Ventura. That's like the 10 thread snips. That's like $15,000 embroidery machine. I'm like, I understand that you can offer me a payment plan, but I've got enough expensive things that I'm working off. I can't justify it.
No, I think about that all the time. Like, no, I couldn't. I was thinking about, well, what if I sell my truck, but then I'm selling a car that's a practical tool. Like, my truck is a tool. And I'm not talking about my white one. I'm talking about my blue one, the one I don't drive. And I was like, then I'm literally pawning my truck for a sewing machine. And I promised myself to stop doing stuff like that a long time ago.
You're better than that, Godless.
Stop clucking. Don't cluck your stuff away.
Right.
In my community, if clucking stuff away means that you're selling your stuff for either drug money. If it has some, if it's the light bill, that's different. If you sell your Superman comic book and you pay the light bill, that's everybody. That's life, you know.
Right.
But if you're pawning grandma's ring so you could smoke a doobie, there, get help.
Right. Yeah, you need a lot of help.
I don't trust people who are too polite. I feel like they have an agenda.
Yeah.
Do you know everything is really off scale because but my hat. Oh, whoops! Of course, I pull my hat and then it starts falling. It shows. Gosh, this hat is so huge.
You made one that's actually too big?
It's starting. The bill is starting. That's the thing with the I'll grab it with the stabilizer. It starts. It doesn't stay stiff. It doesn't stay straight. With this particular, I use 806 and 808.
Okay. You are going to need to get yourself some real tarlatan or horsehair candy, or like the real millinery stuff, I think.
I think I might have gotten ripped off for the buckram stuff that I ordered, whatever it's called, because it hasn't showed up at my house yet. But I use the 808. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I heard some of the people complain that ours is better quality buckram than others, but I don't know the difference.
This stuff, it's decent, but it's more for like if you want to make a bear or like a stuffed animal, because it'll keep the face stiff, but it's still washable and stuff, you know. But it's not. I don't know, because look, this cowboy hat has been through a fire, man. This thing, and it's semi-indestructible, you know.
Right.
Even though it's old and crummy.
Yeah, but then some of those leather hats, like there's no stiffeners, but they formed it and molded the leather on the form, so they're two different styles. Oh yes, Liz agrees. Never trust someone that's too polite, and they do if someone is too polite and calling you pet names as soon as they meet you. Run. I've had to say there's a feral cat at my office whose name is Sweetie, and I let people know because she finally, after 12 and a half years, I was out there with her when one of the normal food handlers, so now we've become friends and she'll let me pet her. But I tell folks, I'm like, if I say Sweetie, I'm talking to the cat, I'm not talking to you. Because some people have looked at me funny, and I was like, oh, wait, I should let them know, like, that I try to address Sweetie. Even if the door's closed, I know that she hears me because her food dishes are on the other side of my slider. So.
Pet names drive me mentally insane. I am not a fan of pet names. That reminds me really quick. I'm going to go feed Odin. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Alrighty.
And really quickly, this is my dusty leather hat that was stitched together.
That is nice.
This is multiple pieces, but it's not made for someone with my head size. So this sends the wrong man. I look like Houdini. I literally look like Houdini.
No, you're missing your straight jacket.
That's weird. I look like Houdini. I guess we all do look alike. I'm joking. Don't cancel me. I've already been canceled.
Right, been there, done that. All right, what do I have to work on? Let's see here. What do I feel like working on? Because I just moved the pieces. I'm gonna can I sew some? Is there something I can sew that's not gonna make me mad right now? Oh, I guess I can sew the front and backs of this together and then do the button plackets last. But I was like, if the good part of me is like, I should press the button plackets and do those first while they're in separate halves because it'll be easier, but the iron's not turned on. And I don't want to sew the sleeves together yet because I wanted to put lace details at the bottom, but my ruffler foot's fighting with me right now. I'm like out of projects right now. I'm at a project impasse. Oh, do I need what else can I do? Oh, I guess I can pick out a button for this schmata because it does need a button because I wear it to the office. I need a little bit more modesty. What color button do I want on my primary colored polka dotted dress? Should we do green? Ooh, this one's fun. Do I have just one of these? Should we do this? Oh, here, I'll pull you back up.
I have it down to a system. Odin gets fed in 10 seconds.
Sweet. Do we like this button? Oh, it's so shiny. It's not even showing up here. Let me be huge for a minute because No, I cannot be a great YouTuber. The light is catching this like silver sparkly button in a funny way.
It is shining against it.
I know.
Really quickly, I don't like being called buddy, guy, my guy, dude. And the funny thing is, I'll accept dude. Dude's different, actually. But, like, it seems to me when someone calls someone buddy, it's not a term of endearment. You know?
It's like, hey, buddy.
Yeah. It's different. Like, in the 80s, people would say, hey, me and my buddies are going somewhere. That's different.
Right.
But when someone's like, "Hey, bud," nope, you are talking
right,
down
they're
to
just
me,
picking
dude.
for a fight. They're like, you talk to my lady, you talk to my human, you parked in my spot.
But I think also is I do not look, and I know people are gonna be like, "What does that mean?" But like, I do not look or sound my age. Like, I do not. I don't know. Like, sometimes I guess I look my age with my beard, but I don't sound. And because I'm skinny and tall, people like I'm not tall. I'm 5'9", but people think I'm younger than what I am.
I mean, you folks who are over 5'6" need to just can it. I'm not tall at 5'9". Go F your tall legs and try being wide when you say you're 5'1". I will not stand for this chicanery anymore.
You know what it is? It's because I live in the land of giants. Everyone here is over 6 feet tall, and I'm like, I am so short. It's because I'm surrounded by tall people. Even like most people, yeah.
All right, Liz, we'll go with a green button. Ooh, this is a cute green one.
Dude is different, Liz. I'll accept dude. Oh, I like that green. I like that green.
Okay. And I think I just have one, and that's all I need for this. Oh, I have two. Okay, even better. I'll put 2 green boutons.
That was like shiny green. I like that.
Yeah, because I feel like the polka dots. Oh,
I feel like people
in the camera. Sorry.
People. Oh, no worries. I feel like people passive aggressively say things like, "Oh, bud, buddy," or like, back in my smoking day, if I didn't get I'd be smoking a cigarette, and somebody'd be like, "Do you have another cigarette?" And I'd be like, "No," and they'd be like, "God bless you." To me, it sounded like "Go stuff yourself."
Right. You're like, why don't you want to share with me? Well, maybe I'm out. Maybe you should just go bum off with somebody else, you arsehole. They
were expensive even back then to me when they were like $2-3. They were expensive, because I knew eventually I was gonna run out and have to go buy more, and that person was not gonna help me.
Right?
Oh Liz, man, that is hard.
People are just awkward. And we both concur. 5'9" is not short.
And I wear cowboy boots to give myself the illusion of height. Because people think I'm so much taller than what I am. And then when I take my boots off, they're like, dude, you literally just lost a whole foot.
Oh, God.
That reminds me, I need to put my boots in the car because I need to find out how much that there's a boot shop by the grocery store I go to, and he's got to be the last place on earth that that resoles shoes.
Oh, I've gone to the cobbler in my town to get I got a pair of boots at the thrift store in Seattle for like $10, and they're like fancy Italian boots. So I spent more getting the zippers replaced on each of them than I paid for the boots.
Exactly.
And I got them sold. Yeah.
There's a few I'm like refusing to let go. And my riding boots are so expensive. I refuse to buy another pair. I'm just going to get these fixed.
Yeah, why? Kids need to learn these real skills. Like, don't be a YouTuber, be an electrician, a plumber, a cobbler, a tailor, a hat maker, a milliner.
I had this conversation with my mom the other day. She calls me and she's like, I think I need a plumber. I said, you need a what? We are the most self-sufficient people on earth. I came over to her house, and of course I had my son. I had him hold my toolbox. I came over with two tubs of Drano. I went in the back room. I poured Drano down that one. I went in the front room and just went in every drain and poured Drano down, you know? And she hasn't had the problem since. But they were going to charge, her an absorptive amount of money, which goes back to the psychic. And my mom is now starting to see that auto mechanics rip off old ladies.
I think they probably try to rip off ladies in general, but
now she brings me with her because I speak Spanish. You can't lie to me. I speak Spanish, and and I know about cars. Yeah. Even my ex-wife, she had this car, and she's like, every time I go to this place, they tell me something's wrong with my car. Come with me. I showed up with my cowboy hat on. Not one dude was talking. Not one was speaking. They didn't say a word because they knew I was going to be like, oh, you're lying.
Liz, you're too funny. You look better in fine print.
You know what, Liz? I watched my grandmother shrink in real life. I watched her go from 5'1" to 4'10".
I don't want that day to come. I don't have that many inches between me and that height. My grandmother lived to be 99. So if you have the wizard gene, she had the wizard gene. Like, here. Well, and it's funny too how like kids are supposed to be in booster seats until they're 65 inches or 4 feet 11, and I'm well past the 65 pounds. But the 4'11" is not that. I'm only a few inches above that.
I used to always wonder about that. Like, because Isaiah, for the longest, I got pulled over one time because in my blue truck, Isaiah had this weird thing where he had to sit next to me.
Uh-huh.
And so it appeared that my son was not wearing a seatbelt, you know? And poor guy, there's a cop in my town. We call him Spaceballs. He's a young African-American man with a little head. And so the helmet looks huge on his head. So we spot Spaceballs a mile away. Spaceballs pulled me over. And he's 5'3". And like my truck is standard, but you still like, so he like looked in my truck. He's like, oh, I'm sorry for pulling you over. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I know you didn't pull me over because of my
tiptoes trying to look into the window.
All the motorcycle cops are little for some reason. I don't know why. Every single one of them are under 5'5".
Well, maybe it's because they miss their true passion of being jockeys, who are also very tiny people.
It's thrilling. Motorcycles are thrilling.
Yeah, so they just want to be jockeys because you have to be rich. Or jockeys aren't rich. It's the horse owners who are the rich. I'm like choking on my spit.
Jockeys are like, no, jockeys don't make that much money. It's the billionaire who owns a horse.
I know. You don't scare me, Liz. My granny was short. She didn't make it to 5 feet. She was only like 4'11". No.
Better than Officer Pound Cake. That sounds like prison. That sounds like prison sex skits. That sounds.
I know. That song, 11 Pound Cake. That song is so hysterical. Oh, yeah, actually, we should. I don't like any of the candidates, but I think I'm gonna um go hard for Afro Man. If he's really gonna run, then that's my candidate. I don't.
Hey, I voted for Gary Coleman because
Awesome.
I didn't want to vote. I didn't want to vote for Gallagher or Mary Carey or who else ran. A bunch of actors ran for when Arnold Schwarzenegger ran. Like every
Right?
famous person in California ran.
Right? They're like, well, if he can do it, we all can. But they were like, but Reagan already did it. Been there, did that.
You know what though? I would laugh my tail off. I would fall on the ground if Afro Man won.
I think that would be
I would
great.
fall. Then he could walk up to Putin or walk up to the Chinese and be like, "Look, man, you see this? You light this end and you smoke this end. Let's have peace." I would do that.
World peace by pot. Yes, I think we've got our the circus's candidate, Afro Man. I'm all for it. We're gonna go in for a penny, in for a pound on this one.
Oh, Skits, I was talking about when Arnie ran. I voted for Gary Coleman because what you talking about, Willis ran for governor. And porn star Mary Carey, who's long forgotten. The only reason she's remembered is because she ran for governor.
I know that's the other thing. What leg does Stormy Daniels have in all this whole thing when she's got to pay Trump? What is it, $600,000 in legal fees?
You know what? She'll make it back because she's just gonna start making a bunch. She's gonna do. She's just gonna start doing a circuit. She's gonna start doing the weirdo tour.
Or is she just going to open up her OnlyFans?
Yeah, that too. I guarantee you, her every time her name gets mentioned in the news, I guarantee you the search engines, her name gets searched even more and more on those sites.
Right, exactly. I know. Yeah. Ugh.
I guarantee you, because in our train wreck society, we love people like that. I actually have a good friend that I love. She is she was like my best friend. Like she has actually there for me, and she was a porn star, and that world is crazy. The porn world is insane. I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. And I'm a vindictive person.
I say that about some of my educational training. I'm like, no. It's too hard, too mean.
But like, what's your shelf life? Because after 40, you're done. You're like, unless you get the MILF for
Right. Yeah, it seems like the guys have a better staying power, but you have to have that skill to be able to like be on command. Because not everybody can do
skill.
that.
No. That's a skill on.
I know. We're like, stand to attention, boys. Okay.
Actually, I was watching this one drag queen that said, like, "Oh, you think that's spectacular? Try to get a Hardy under 30 seconds, then you're a superhero."
Right.
But she wasn't lying, She was kind of telling the truth, like.
Oh, Liz, you're too funny. I don't know if she does, but why not? Make your money how you want to make your bills.
It's not like I'm telling you anything that you don't know, Liz, but Stormy Daniels is on every porn search engine known to man. Just type in S and Stormy Daniels will pop up. It's kind of like when Sarah Palin came out. There's a porn star that like is identical to her, but now looks way better than she does.
Yeah, little nips and tucks.
She got famous because she has the same face as Sarah Palin. And so she started doing porn with a guy that looks like Barack Obama.
Oh, God. Oh, that's a huge case that's not being talked about. The 1MDB debacle.
What's that?
Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to paraphrase it, but it's was it a Malaysian brokerage that this is the case. Leonardo DiCaprio just testified in it, and like the Clintons are involved, Barack Obama, the Obamas are involved, half of Hollywood is involved with this whole thing. I think what is his name? Tug, the umbrella guy, has got a couple of videos about it on his channel, because money and money laundering and rich people, and we need to hear more about it, and I'm not talking about it well. So there's some resources. Go watch Tug's channel, and then we can talk about it tomorrow.
I'm down. I need some new conspiracies, and like my buddy Bobby Hemmett is being proven right every day. A man who was considered crazy in 1992 literally predicted how the world is now. Just by surmising what was going on then and saying if we continue on this path, we'll be exactly where we are right now today.
Well, that's the thing with Alex Jones. Love him or hate him, but he's really smart and extremely well-read and kind of called a whole bunch of stuff. That man has read more books than I have.
That's the thing about Bobby Hemmett too, is that every time he would show you the book he's read and been like, I get that. I actually quote that. I said that to my son. If you've read one book, then you've just read one book.
Right.
But
come back after you've read 10,000.
Like, exactly. Because he's like, I'm going to read the Bible and this and this. I said, okay. After you do that, I have 15 books. This one's about the Old Testament. This one's about the New Testament. This book is about this line in the Old Testament. Like you know, I have a ton of books about religion. This one debunks religion. This one's pro-religion. I even keep all the Jehovah's Witness propaganda that they give me that's like proof of God or blah, blah, blah. Like I have all those crummy books. I have a Young Earth Creationist book. I put it in one of my videos when I used to go to Ventura. They had these free weird pamphlet books. It said Young Earth Creation. I said, oh, you know, I'm snatching that. Like, I love wacky people and wacky theories. I might think that you eat chalk, but like, I'll respect you.
Right, exactly. Which is why this whole like cancel culture or canceling people's media stuff, like, no, I want to know all the weirdo things, because if you force them off platforms, we can't call you out on your bullshit.
It happened to me because I spoke up against a certain community. Counseling isn't, it's the strangest thing. It is the strangest thing. And people who are like, oh, we're anti-canceling are the same ones who would cancel somebody, you know?
Oh, yeah, they're the first ones to, right. They're like calling the kettle black. And I'm like, I don't know about this, kids.
Like Ape and I, we've had kind of a history, but we're just two adults on the internet that stream, and we still hang out with each other after 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
We could have easily canceled each other or like had hate streams, but we just kind of like didn't talk for a year, and then like, hey, I don't hate you. Okay, I don't hate you either. You know, like
right. Well, that's I think what I enjoy watching all like the lawyers get together, because even if they disagree, it's the art of the discourse that they're there for, rather than like, I want you to toe the same party line as I do, because that's not the point. I don't want to talk to people who are exactly like me, because then I don't learn anything. And
so
you're
you
right,
watch
Liz.
Nate? Sorry,
Nate the lawyer. I do.
Yep, Nate Brody. I remember when Nate Brody had like barely any subscribers, so I think that's awesome that he's doing so well.
Yeah, he's got like over 200,000 now.
Oh, that's awesome! That's awesome.
It. I think he streamed with. Well, everybody was on brackets at Nick Rekida's stream during the Rittenhouse trial debacle, and then
I remember that. I remember because I'm subscribed to Nate, and like on Black Twitter, they hate him. They hate him.
Yeah, and I bet they're all like fawning for Christopher Boozy, they're like, you picked the wrong horse in this race, kids. Like, Spoutable is the worst platform ever.
But I was shocked because 1 year before they loved themselves some Nate Brody, and then he started covering the Rittenhouse trial, and the same people that were his best friends they're like, if I ever see you, bro, I'm gonna fight you. Like, get out of here. Get out. I know
Right,
exactly who Nate Brody is. Oh, that's so
right.
funny.
Yeah, I think his women's soccer video was one of his big breakouts, and now he's talking about kind of we kind of need to protect women's sports. I know I hate that I keep going back to this, but like, can you imagine? So when I was a young human and may have or may not have been at concerts, like you go to the ladies' room and at intermission or whatever, and the line is stupid long, and you like can't hold it. So you would slip into the gentleman's room and go to the stall because there's no line at the men's room.
No, because
in public places.
They dip and go.
Right, but you know what you're getting into. But to be a little girl and to see some extra junk in the trunk is not what you signed up for.
I know what you're saying. We used to have separation, and that's the problem, is that the veil has been lifted. And so now we live in a world where everyone's a protected class and they think they can do everything and go anywhere. And that's a problem. If I'm not a part of a country club, I can't walk on the grass, whether of my color, whether of anything. If I'm not a member, I can't be there. In my town, like on the outskirts, there's country clubs everywhere. No one goes there because they're not a part of it. You know, unless you are, you know.
Right, you pay your dues and you pay your fees and you can show up, but I don't like locker rooms. Like, I don't. It's so tough because I want more sports teams. I want an XX class, an XY class, and an open class where it's like a free for all. Like, I think more people should do sports, but
do you think that we should just take trophies away and let people compete just for like college, old school? Like college, people get paid now, so it's lame, but one of the reasons I loved old school college, because those kids, it was all about passion. They were playing because they wanted to.
Yeah, I think that is a issue that kids get into sport thinking that they're going to be world famous athletes, and that's like the 0.000%
Well, now it's also legal. It used to be illegal to pay college students, but now it's legal to pay college, which I think is a good thing because these kids are eating ramen and making these schools millions and millions of millions, you know?
Yeah.
But where is that line? Because now these kids are making hundreds of thousands of dollars playing college football, you know?
Yeah, and the sponsorship money and stuff. Yeah, well, it's kind of the same too. Like, the only people who do sports think they're going to get famous, but we've lost, like, you need to be physically active for your health. And it's not about the winning or the losing. It's doing an activity because you like it and you want to be healthy.
That's why I think we should take away I know people are going to hate me for this, and I think we should take away the championships. Make it worth that. Okay, you won. Good. High five.
Right.
You know, like, stop making it.
You got a plaque on the wall, like all the ultimate school pennants that they hung up in the gym. You're like, yes, we won in 2025.
Yep, state champs.
God, this is going to sell you a pennant to hang on the wall of your gymnasium.
Oh, you pay me. I'll have the border ready in 25 minutes. Just tell me what size, dude. I have the canvas ready.
We are done.
I got cans of Scotch Guard. You won't even have to shake that thing for a couple years.
It's going to look at Dust and it's going to say, F you. You don't live here, Dust.
No, I think that's unfortunately, and I'm not talking about race, but this is the problem of inclusion, of over inclusion, because now we think, look, I was in a hockey league of a bunch of huffy old guys. They literally had another league for people who were in shape. because they knew someone like me would get my butt kicked by someone my same age who works out every day on their skates. You know what I'm saying? I was in the fun league. We came to play hockey, and like literally the other team, like you'd grab the guy when they fell down, like, oh, come here, I'll pick you up. Like it was old guy hockey, you know? So I was in the smokers league. I think they should do that. Like out of shapers, go over here. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the right answer is, because then there was like the Canadian Olympic, or not Olympic weightlifting, the one that they only have to bench, squat, and deadlift, powerlifting.
Yeah.
Who was like, I'm gonna identify as a woman, and he came in with his singlet and his beard and like crushed the bench press and like set the new world record. And then the trans athlete was all huffy, was like, oh, she was like, oh, he just came and beat all of us. And I'm like, well, you're kind of doing the same thing, because you've got bigger bones, bigger muscles. You basically juiced your whole life, and now you're complaining. Like, it makes me feel mad that
the problem is you should be able to speak your mind and say what you want. We've become sensitive to getting our feelings hurt when we hear things that we don't want to hear. Not everybody is going to agree with what's going on today. And that's why, as a species, we need to come to a basic consensus. Because I used to watch Posey Parker a lot. And quite honestly, a lot of what she was saying was sensationalistic. And some of it was true. When she was saying that there was a double mastectomy every 20 minutes on a minor in California, it wasn't true. But what the statistic was is there's a double mastectomy every 20 minutes on an adult in California. So the mastectomy rate has risen, and that's not an argument. It's a fact. Like you can't there's, you know, I'm not going to say the Ben Shapiro line because I do just have utter and complete disdain for him. But like, you know, there are certain things where it's, I don't know. You know, recently I got into it with a trans man, and it dawned on me, like, I have no problem with anyone whatsoever. I have a problem with this individual. No matter what they identify as, no matter what the thing is, this individual has done me wrong. And I think we've kind of lost that in our society, where we're so categorically driven, where we can't deal with each other anymore. There's like, I used to say that religion was a blocker. Now we have a gajillion other labels to walk. We're walking around with freaking forts. You know, we're on our own islands. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, because I'm not anti anything. I worry about the kids, and I want women's sports to be safe. Like that, the one UFC fighter who just got her skull cracked in.
I don't know if there's a I don't know what the answer is, because we want integration, equality. We want people to be able to do anything, but we also have to know our limits. Look, I'm a smoker, bro. Like I will never be an Olympic sprinter, and I used to be fast. I'm a snail now. I used to be lightning, and I'm skinny. I'm on my skates. I'm huffy at 50 yards, let alone a 100-yard dash. I'm like at 45. I'm like, oh gosh, I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. What am I doing?
Did I make it to the end?
Why did I do this to myself? You know, I know my physical limits. Even at my job, there's certain machinery I have to work out to use, because it's gonna drag me through the field like this. You know, we have a DR. We have a DR that it's made for mulching, but it literally takes down fields. It's that infomercial thing where it's just a giant lawnmower.
It's a beast, yeah.
It's a real life beast. That thing drags me. I put my heels in the ground, and it literally takes me on a ride.
You might as well just get a horse and hook it up to the plow at that rate. Stand on the back of the plow.
That would be way more peaceful. Horses are extremely peaceful.
Right, because it would be quiet too. You wouldn't have to worry about your ears.
Oh yeah, the drone, like your brain. I have earmuffs, but your brain like just shuts that sound out.
Yeah.
Because it's literally even through my chainsaw rated range rated earmuffs, I can still hear the machine.
Yeah.
Because it's loud as hell, you know.
It is.
Oh
All
my
right, we should
gosh.
end on a happy topic. What I need a white pill for tonight.
Let's see. Do you know, as Captain Negator of the negative region, you know what? You finally shut me up. You're like, fine, think of something happy, and I'm like, damn.
This is sad. Godless is speechless when tell me something happy. We have problems.
The 808 stabilizer is the same as 806.
Okay, well that's good to know. Maybe Afro Man is our white pill. Let's all rally for Afro Man to be the next president.
If the Simpsons predicted it, he probably will. Did the Simpsons ever predict it? Because if they have, then he probably will be.
Let's go with that.
Tomorrow night I will be streaming, and I'm gonna have a ton of crud that I've been making. A ton.
Sweet.
I'll show off I was going for Godless Sewing in the Technicolor coat, but it turned into Godless Sewing and ripping this crummy hood off because my measurements never sew emotionally sewing sounds good, but when you're not paying attention, you make mistakes.
That is very true.
And measure
like
twice.
The 1950s the old sewing books where you're like, make dinner, make your shirt, eat your breakfast, clean your house, put your face on, dress up nice, and then start sewing.
Yeah. Never so emotional. I don't know what I was thinking the other night. I'm so mad at myself because like making collars and hoods, I can do that in my sleep. I can literally, I don't even need a form anymore. I cut it like freehand, you know? But it's been a while, so it's okay to be rusty.
Fair. All right, folks, don't wait till tomorrow when you could be fabulous today, and don't laugh at others unless you've laughed at yourself. All right, bye!
Rock out with your clock out.